Good evening, everyone. Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal. Uh, I welcome you all in our income tax session. Today is our second session of basic concepts. So I believe you must have gone through with the provisions what we have discussed in our first session, that is day before yesterday, in which we have gone through with the introduction part, the levy of income tax, the constitutional power of imposing income tax, the reason of imposing income tax, certain definitions like we were discussing definition of person, assessee, charging section, the scope of income tax, the union list category, etc. And we have covered the definition of person, in which we have discussed individual provisions and HUF. And I have asked you to please read the definition of company, etc., which I believe you must have done that. So today, of course, we will discuss the further provision of definition of person, the definition of income, some special concept regarding black money. There are some exception in which previous year and assessment year would be the same. We will also start our numerical part, that is part B, that is rate of taxes. So that would be a very interesting part for you, because due to the questions, when you will solve the numerical question that how to calculate income tax, that would be really interesting for you, because you will have the knowledge about the calculation of tax procedure. So I believe that you must be studying very hard to achieve your goal to become a chartered accountant as soon as possible. I am C. Ankit Sharma. Welcome you all once again. In today's class, of course, I will share with you a thought for the day. Then we will start the process. You can ask your queries, of course, during the class also. And then we will move on to a story that would be at the end of the lecture. As let me remind you once more time that we are discussing Finance Act 2024 provision. So our previous year is 24-25, and the provision we are discussing is for assessment year 25-26. So the limit of that 12 lakh rupees, or the new Finance Act which has been introduced in 2025, or the new income tax 2025 bill, that is not the part of our syllabus for the attempt what you are going to give in September 25 or January 26 or May 25. So for May 25, September 25 and January 26, the previous year 24-25 and assessment year 25-26 is applicable. I request you all, please, if somebody is joined the class first time, kindly watch the last lecture also for all the confusion that we have already clarified in the last session. Okay. So there are good evening wishes. Okay, so Makwana, good evening. Nikhil, Rishabh, Lalit, Gayatri, Omkar, Priyanka, Aditya, Tanya, Abhisha, Janvi, Praveen, Rajveer, Sneha. Okay, Sneha Chavla is asking, sir, please explain charge of income tax, step number 6, computation of gross total income. So Sneha, I have already discussed that the computation of gross total income needs to combine 5 heads of income, which is business income, salary income, capital gain income, house property income, or income from other source. So these all heads of income is having their separate chapters. So once we will go through with those chapters, then you will come to know that how to calculate the gross total income. And we have to apply clubbing as well as set of provision also to find out the gross total income. So that would be discussed in detail in later of chapters. Okay. Gayatri is asking, how many person need to form an HUF? One male member and one co-partner, or two male member and two co-partners? So Gayatri, we have discussed in the last session, we need at least 2 person to create, 2 individual to create a HUF. One of which should be a co-partner. The other could be a member or a co-partner, not an issue. But out of those 2 individuals, one should be at least co-partner and other one could be a member or co-partner. Okay. Okay, Nagaratha, good evening. Shreya, Shalini, Srihari, Nisha, Sunil, Mohammed, Parvez, Uday Kumar, Tanya, Vaishnavi. Okay, Jayendra is asking, under Daya Bhaga, if father death is mandatory, then it is mandatory to create a HUF or for the purpose of partition. Then it is difficult to create HUF if three generations live together. How can create HUF? So under Daya Bhaga, it is not possible. Only one generation could be the part of a HUF. For Mitakshara, it is possible. But for the purpose of Daya Bhaga, the previous generation and the other generation could not form part of a HUF ever. Mehak, good evening. Harshdeep is asking, good evening, sir. What are the special rates under both regimes? So special rates are those does not affect with the person change. Like for individual, there is slab rate. For the purpose of company, there is other 30% fixed or 25% for partnership firm. But special rates are those income, those going to be taxed at the same rate for every person. That is in case of capital gain, and there is also a case of casual income like winning from lottery, etc. That we will go through later in this chapter. Okay. Meenu, is there a WhatsApp group for the class? No, in my knowledge, there is no WhatsApp class for the class. Okay, so all the queries has been taken. On portal is Soumya, good evening. Jilik Chatterjee, good evening. Srisha, good evening. Parampreet Kaur, good evening. Soumya is asking, in Daya Bhaga, who are the co-partner of HUF? I have discussed in the last class, Soumya, in Daya Bhaga or Mitakshara, both cases. The person who have taken birth in that family, that would be treated as co-partner. So for the purpose, practically, you can understand, in a family, a father, a son, daughter, they could be the part of, they could be treated as co-partner because they have taken birth in that family. Sumit is asking, sir, individual और HUF के लिए अलग टैक्स रेट है क्या? अभी हम टैक्स रेट का पार्ट स्टार्ट करेंगे. आई हैव टोल्ड यू इन द लास्ट क्लास, जस्ट स्टे विद मी. जो हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं ना, उस पे भी फोकस कीजिए. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. फोकस इज द बेसिक थिंग टू क्लियर एनी एग्जामिनेशन और टू बी सक्सेसफुल इन योर लाइफ, ऑफ कोर्स. सो अभी हमने HUF क्या है, इंडिविजुअल क्या है, ये डिस्कस किया. तो डेफिनेटली इंस्टीट्यूट ने अपनी स्टडी में उनकी रेट्स के बारे में भी बात करी होगी. सब कुछ लिखा है. जो क्वेश्चन आप सोच रहे हैं वो भी सारे क्वेश्चन है स्टडी में. जो आप नहीं सोच रहे हैं वो सब भी लिखा गया. हमें क्या करना है, जस्ट पेशेंस. तो अभी हम जो भी चीज पढ़ रहे हैं ना, जस्ट फोकस ऑन दैट टॉपिक. सो वी हैव डिस्कस्ड HUF क्या है, इंडिविजुअल क्या है. सो व्हाट आर देयर रेट्स एटसेट्रा, डेफिनेटली वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस later in this chapter. Just be patient and stay with me. I will explain each and everything to you. Okay. Okay. Samarth Garg is asking, in Daya Bhaga, HUF can only be formed after the death of the father. Yes, of course, true. Sri Haridas, so we have to apply normal rates of normal income, special rate of special income. Yes, definitely. But these are going to be discussed later in the other chapters. So why are you so hurry? Just stay with me. Do not try to go for discussion like what are the tax rate, on which income these are going to be applicable. Everything would be discussed in these classes. Okay. चलो फिर start करते हैं. Starting from the thought for the day. And today's thought for the day is, do or do not. There is no try. So if you have joined this course to become a chartered accountant is your dream, then either you are going to complete it or do not try for it. Just there, you should be focused that I have to become a chartered accountant. I need to prefix that CA before my name. So if you have that much focus, if you have that much decided about your future, then no one is going to stop you. Don't be in the dilemma that I will try that I would be a chartered accountant or not. Let's try CA. No, there is no try. Just focus on your goal, work hard for it, and you will get it. So I always say, dream it, plan it, do it, and get it. So if you are very clear that I am going to be a chartered accountant, if you are not going to leave CA, CA would not going to leave you. So there should not be even 1% confusion in your mind that maybe I would not be a chartered accountant. No, Just believe in yourself that yes, I will be a chartered accountant. Whatever the requirement of working hard for it, focus, discipline, I am ready to give it. And if you are ready to give it for this course, let me tell you, let me assure you, you will be a chartered accountant later or sooner. So don't try it, just try it, just do this thing. Okay, just make yourself clear that I want to be a chartered accountant. So now we are discussing with the provisions. So in the last class, we were on definition of firm. The definition of partnership firm, we are about to discuss it, and it is very, very simple definition. Very easy, very simple definition. And it says partnership and LLP we are discussing in section 223. So definition are very simple. It says partnership firm means those are registered as a partnership firm under Partnership Act 1932, and LLP means those are registered under LLP Act 2008. So definition is very, very simple regarding partnership firm and LLP. Moving on to the other definitions like association of person. Now this is interesting. Association of person and body of individual. It seems like related to each other, or it would be look like they are very similar to each other. But there is quite a huge difference also. Let me explain you with the help of an example. So what is AOP? सबसे पहले डिस्कस करते हैं association of person. What is AOP? Understand with the help of an example. Suppose there is Mr. F. He is having a building. Out of that building, the rent he earns 10 lakh rupees per annum. Clear? Now Mr. F is having 3 children, son 1, son 2, and son 3. Or say 4 children, D1 is a daughter. Clear? Now what happened? After the death of Mr. F, suppose there is no will has been created and Mr. F has been passed away. Then the owner of this income would be all these 4. So whatever rent is coming to them, they decided that they will apportion it proportionately. So now S1, S2, S3 and D1 is the owner of this income, and they do not enter into any registered agreement. Whatever rent they are receiving, they are going to divide it proportionately, equally, or in a certain percentage. But they did not register any agreement regarding this. So if you are earning any income, without any registered document, they will be treated as association of person. Automatically they are the legal heirs. So of course they are going to be the owner of this income, and they decided that we will divide this income equally or in a certain percentage. But there is no legal registered document for this regard. Then they will be treated as association of person. Suppose if they decided that let's create a HUF, then they will be treated as HUF. Suppose they decided let's create a LLP, then they will be treated as LLP. Suppose they decided we will create a firm, registered firm, then they will be treated as a partnership firm. But if they do not register anywhere, they would be called association of persons. So when two or more person comes together for any common purpose to earn income without any legal registered document. This is the most important line, that without any legal registration, if there are 2 or more person who is earning any income or objective to earn any income, that would be treated as association of person. Clear? Now the same example, if I want to explain you what is the meaning of body of individual. Suppose almost same example is like this again. Suppose there is Mr. F having a building. Rental income is 10 lakh rupees. Again, 4 children, S1, S2, S3, D1, daughter. Suppose they all are minor. Mr. F created a registered will and appointed A, B, and C as the caretaker. Clear? So A, B, C are the caretakers, and Mr. F registered a will and written in that will that after my death, the property will be with A, B, C, and they will be the caretaker of my property. And when my children would be major, then this property and income would be transferred to S1, S2, S3, and D1. Till they are minor, ABC will take care of this property. Now, technically, ABC would be called body of individuals. There should be a registered agreement. That's a mandatory condition. And whatever income they will receive from this property, 10 lakh rupees per annum, they will pay tax on behalf of Mr. F or on behalf of S1, S2, S3, and D1. They are not going to pay tax from their pocket, because out of this income, they will pay tax to the income tax department, and whatever amount for the monthly expenditure, etc., will be given to S1, S2, S3, and D1. If A, B, and C, now very interesting thing, very carefully listen to this thing. Out of this 10 lakh rupees, whatever is the tax liability on this 10 lakh rupees, that will be paid out of this 10 lakh rupees. A, B, C are not personally liable for that tax liability. They would just have the liability to pay tax out of this 10 lakh rupees income. But suppose ABC is receiving some remuneration for this work. Out of this 10 lakh rupees, Mr. F written that ABC will receive 1 lakh rupees each per annum for this caretaking work. Now this 1 lakh would be the individual income of A, B, and C. On this 1 lakh rupees, ABC will pay tax out of their pocket, and for that they will be treated as individual. Understand? For 10 lakh rupees, ABC would, for caretaking of this property, then that 1 lakh or whatever amount they are receiving, that is their personal income. And individually, they need to pay tax on that amount also. So for that purpose, they would be treated as individual, and they will pay tax out of the rupees 1 lakh rupees, if any is applicable. But for 10 lakh rupees, they will be called body of individual. So suppose now if I ask you that tell me the main difference between AOP and BOI. So we just discussed what is the AOP and BOI with the help of an example. So can you find it out the basic difference between AOP and BOI? Let me see. Registered, of course, definitely. AOP is unregistered, always. And BO need registration, legal registered. So there should be a registered will, etc. First difference. What is the second difference? Correct, Rajveer. AOP are the owners of income. In case of AOP, the amount of 10 lakh has been received by S1, S2, S3, and D1, and they are the real owner of income. But in case of BOI, ABC is receiving income, but they are not the legal owner. They are just the caretaker of that income. Very good. Very well done. Exactly. Any other question? Anubhav is asking, can ABC use 10 lakh rupees for personal use? No, that would be the breach of contract. For that purpose, court can sue them. So that is not the case, okay? They're not allowed to use that 10 lakh rupees for personal purpose. Okay, so now we are discussing with the help of the provision which has been given there. Moving on to the definition. So now you will understand more clearly that what is the AOP and what is the BOI. So when person combined together for promotion of joint enterprises, they are assessed an AOP. If they do not in law constitute a partnership. So the basic difference is exactly that there is no legal agreement between the parties. They would be treated as association of person. The person must join for a common purpose or their object must be to co-produce the income. You can go through with the example, so you will understand what is exactly the AOP. Body of individual, it denotes the status of person like executor or trustee. A very interesting difference between AOP and BOI, one more also. The name suggests it. This is association of person. And the definition of person include everyone. So in case of AOP, there could be individuals, there could be HUF, there could be partnership firm, there could be company also. They all can come together like a joint venture. Suppose a partnership firm and a company goes into a specific contract with the help of a joint venture. So there could be firm also, there could be company also, anyone can be there under an AOP. But in case of body of individual, only individuals can be included. So there's third difference. In case of AOP, anyone can be the part of AOP because the word is association of person, and person includes everyone. And in case of body of individual, only individuals could be the part of that body of individual organization. It denotes the status of person like executor or trustee who merely receive the income jointly. They are just receiving the income. They are not the owner of that income, and who may be accessible in like manner and to the same extent as the beneficiaries individually. The co-executor, co-trustees are the accessible as BOI. So you must have the definition, the word trust. So the trustees are technically not the owner of income. They are the caretaker of that income. So in that case, they are technically a body of individuals. Okay. So here is the definition, and the difference also has been discussed. Okay. Now the next person is local authority. It's very simple. Like if a any government authority who works on a central level, that is called central government, like army, etc. If any government authority work at state level, we call it state government, like police. And if any government organization, those work on city level, that means local level, that is called local authority. The term local authority means a municipal committee, district board, body of port, commissioners, or other authority legally entitled or entrusted by the government with the control or management of a municipal or local fund. Okay. Artificial judicial person is the last person. So we have gone through with the definition of point number 1 to almost point number 7, in which we have seen that who will be treated as which category of person. Like individual would be when you are a single human being and you are the single owner of any income, you would be an individual. We have gone through with HUF, we have gone through with partnership firm, LLP, company, local authority, AOP, BOI. So they all explained when they will be treated as this specific person. But as I have told you in the last session, artificial judicial person definition is very interesting, and it says any person who does not fall in the above 7 category will be treated as artificial judicial person. And it includes God also. God. Yes, you have heard right. God also need to pay tax in our country. So you must have heard that God is the supreme authority, but income tax says no. We are there. We will collect tax from God also, because technically you can see when there is a temple, mosque, church, gurdwara, anything. So technically when we are donating something into that temple, mosque, church or gurdwara, so that is the income of the God. On the name of God, we are technically donating something. So that is directly the income of God, but via their trustee, priest, etc. They need to pay tax. So income is of the God and they have to pay it. And God does not include in first to 7 categories. So they would be treated as artificial judicial person. So artificial judicial person are the entities which are not natural person, but are separate entities in the eyes of law. This is the residual category, could cover all artificial person with a juristic personality not falling under any other category, entities, bar council, universities, and some important examples of artificial judicial person. So that was the definition of person. Now the other definition is of India. What is the definition of India? Please go through it. I hope in GST also you must have gone through with the definition of India, or the India definition will be discussed in GST also to make you understand where till which part the GST is going to be applicable. But that's a simple definition. You can go through with this. Previous year and assessment year. We have discussed the definition and the concept in the last session. Day before yesterday, I've explained you what is the meaning of previous year, what is the meaning of assessment year. For time being, let me remind you, in the year in which you earn income, that is called previous year for that income. And the next year in which you are going to pay tax on that last year income in which you have earned that income, that would be called assessment year. So that would be called taxing year also. An important clarification, in case of new business or new source of income, suppose someone started business from today. Today is 27th February. So suppose Mr. A start a new business, he opened a new shop from today. Okay. So for this year, his previous year would be from 27th February 2025 till 31st March 2025 only. So for a new source of income, the previous year would start from the day the new source has been started and will always end on 31st March 2025. Suppose somebody has started his business on 30th March 2025. So his year would be end on 31st March 25. So his previous year will include only 2 days. So previous year can be less than 1 year in case of new business. And in case of existing business, suppose somebody is doing business from 2010 continuously. Then for him, of course, the previous year means 1st April 2024 till 31st March 2025. So for an existing business, always previous year would be 12 months. But in case of a new business, the previous year could be less than 12 months. But assessment year will always be for 12 months. It cannot be less than 12 months. It cannot be more than 12 months. It would be always 12 months. So even for this previous year, the previous year is for 2 days. But for the purpose of tax collection, for the purpose of tax payment, you have full 12 months with yourself to pay the tax in the assessment year. So if somebody is asking you whether assessment year can be less than 12 months, the answer is no. The assessment year would always be 12 months and the previous year could be less than or equal to 12 months. Okay. So this definition of assessment year we have already discussed in the last session, in the previous year also. The clarification I have just shared with you is over here. Newly set up during the financial year. In such a case, the previous year shall be period beginning on the date of setting up of the business or profession and ending with 31st March of the said financial year. In a source of income comes into existence in the said financial year, then the previous year will commence from the date on which the source of income newly comes. Suppose somebody is going to join a job from today, 27th of February. So of course, for his salary income, his previous year would be from 27th February till 31st of March. You can see the example also. A business is running from 1993 onward. So that means it's not a new business. So the previous year would be from starting 1st April 24 till 31st March 25. A chartered accountant 1st July 24 till 31st March 25. I hope it's clear till now. Okay, Ms. Soumya is saying, but donations are exempted from income tax. Soumya, so we are just discussing what is the definition of person. We are not discussing donations are exempted or taxable. Some donations are exempted, some donations are still taxable. So again, we are not going on to the taxability. Is it clear what is the definition of artificial judicial person? So income tax cover every person, the definition of person. Like agricultural income is exempted. So if an individual is a farmer, he needs not to pay any income tax act, but he would be the part of definition of individual as a person. So we are discussing those are covered under the income tax definition. Whether they need to pay tax or not, it does not matter. Like you might not be earning anything right now. So you are an individual because you are a human being. And maybe if you are earning rupees 1 lakh rupees in a year, up to 5 lakh, generally no tax in our country. So on that 1 lakh, you need not to pay tax. But it does not mean that you not fall in the definition of person. You will still be an individual. Okay. Yes, Soumya, ICAI will be AJP that we have discussed in the last session also. So it's my humble request to all of you. You all are smart students. I personally request you to please, whenever you start watching a class, please see the previous lectures also, because income tax technically is interconnected. So each chapter might be have some relation, each topic might have some specific relation to the onwards topic or into any other topic. So that would be really easy for you also, because these query will take our time, and time is money and it is limited for everyone. Even Mr. Ambani have that 24-hour, and even you have. So you are equivalent to anyone in this world, at least in respect of one thing, and that is time. Whether it's Elon Musk, it's Donald Trump, or it's you all have one thing at least common, that is 24 hours. And whatever he is doing in this 24-hour and what are we doing in this 24-hour, that's make difference in our future. So how you invest your 24-hour in your life, that will change your future, that will change their future, that will going to change everyone's future. But that is same thing whatever we all have in this world. Okay. Chalo bhai, next move. Okay, general rule, exception rule. Before that, let me take the queries. If there's any query, let's discuss those queries. Okay, difference has been done. Prithvi Raj is asking, sir, does it mean that BOI will be formulated only for the similar to a trust? Yes, in case of BOI, there would be always you are a caretaker technically. In any case, you are not the owner of that income. Okay. Praveen, sir, in this case, all 4 children should become major, right, sir? Only then they can. That will depend on a will. If in the will it has been written that after 1 children become owner major or 2 or 3, that will execute like that. So we were discussing how BOI will form when the income would be transferred to minor child or not. That is not the part of our concept, of course. Local authority like Gram Panchayat, yes, correct. A nuclear family consisting father, mother, and 1 son is what AOP? It's not an AOP. They have to earn income combined. If in a nuclear family, father is earning himself, so he's an individual. Mother is also earning herself, then she is also an individual. So there would be a concept of AOP when there's a common income. And if that is earned by more than 2 or more person, and it is not registered, then it would be AOP. If they 3 decided to start a new business without any registration, then that income from that business would be classified as AOP. Who was asking it? Rakesh, okay. Abhisha is saying, God made this word for us to stay. So technically we should pay tax to God, but here God has to pay tax instead. Good joke. Vishnu Vardhan, I remember reading that if previous year is less than 6 months, you can combine the two. That is must be in case of Companies Act, not in case of income tax, Vishnu. Okay, I doubt whatever you're asking is not correct. Mohan, sir, in case of liquidation of a business, in the time assessment year can be less than a year, is right? Yes, it could be. We are going to discuss that provision in front of you. The general rule and exception rules is going to discuss exactly the case what you are asking. Okay. What about the amount left after the payment are done with BOI? Will they need to return? That would be written in the will that the remaining amount is going to be deposited in bank or etc. Or they need to keep that amount as a guardian, as a trustee. Later it will be transferred. That would not be the part of our concept. You students remember one thing, that was I was asking again and again. Don't think about the other questions that would really create a mess into your brain to understand this chapter or income tax or any subject. So when we are discussing what is BOI, so you have to understand, okay, this is BOI concept. What will happen to that amount? The amount need to be what will be happen to that minor child? Maybe somebody is going to ask me what happen if two of those four minor child is going to die, then what will happen the amount? So these are not the concepts. You will be confused, you will be messed up badly. So just stay on, focus on whatever we are seeing, okay? Okay. Shivang Singh is asking, sir, we read that agriculture is exempted from income tax, but if someone doing business from that agriculture produce, but it will be taxable. Shivang, I also shared in last lecture that there is a topic in our this basic concept, and that is agricultural income. So whatever you want to ask about agricultural income, let we need to be comment that topic. Let me discuss the provision of agricultural income that might be discussed in third session. After that session, your all queries, all confusion will be automatically vanished. So we still did not start agricultural income. So please do not go forward. Just stay where we are. On this path, you have to be here with me and discuss the topic what we are discussing right now. NGO will fall under AUP or BOI. If they are registered, they could be a BOI. If they are not registered, they would be always AUP. Yes, Nisha, you are correct. Again, Janvi is asking same. Sir, the children are major. Their time of will, the time of will in that case, that could be anywhere. Whether they are minor, major, it does not matter. Okay. Moving on further. General rule, and we are discussing the exception of this rule. So in the definition of previous year, we have discussed that whatever you earn in previous year, for our examination, it is 24-25. So whatever you will earn in previous year, we need to pay tax in the next year. That is a general rule. That would be called assessment year. Clear? We have discussed this in the last session also, and today also we discussed. But there are some exception of this rule. Exception. That means there are some cases in which the income if you earn in previous year, then tax need to be paid in previous year only. That means there is no assessment year concept in certain exceptions. So you might be thinking that is very wrong. Income tax तो अभी कह रहा था कि next year tax लेने आएंगे. Why they are asking tax in the same year? Because there are certain cases in which if we did not collect the tax in current year, then might be income tax would not be able to collect tax in the assessment year. So this is not, income tax is not doing intentionally, but they do not have choice for this. So there are certain 5-6 cases in which the tax of previous year need to be paid in the same year. For example, suppose there is Mr. A who is doing business, clear? From 1st April 2024 till 27th February 2025, he run his business in India. And suppose till this date, the net profit and the total income or the net profit is suppose 50 lakh rupees. Now he got an opportunity to shift outside India. Like you have seen Mr. Trump going to issue gold card. So Mr. decided that I will pay 44 crore rupees and I am going to shift into USA permanently. He is not going to come back. So suppose he is going outside India tomorrow, 28th February 2025. Suppose he got that gold card today only. He got all the paperwork done and now he's shifting to USA from tomorrow. Now the problem is this, when he will leave India, because he is going permanently, he is not going to come back. Clear? So if he is going outside India permanently, then what will happen? Income tax came to him on 27th February today and ask him to pay tax on this 50 lakh rupees. Or suppose he is going tomorrow, so on airport income tax asks, you have to pay tax on this 50 lakh rupees. So what he will say? He will say, your act says that the income of previous year, whatever I have earned, this is the part of my previous year 24-25 income. I will come and pay tax, or I will pay tax in the next year 25-26. I will not pay tax in this year. So what will happen practically? He will go outside India. If this exception is not there, he will go outside India. And you think that he might come to pay tax in India, or might he is going to pay tax in India in the next year. It may be, or it may be not possible. So if he did not come, then the collection of tax from USA or from any other country where you have been shifted permanently is practically very, very difficult, or in my opinion, it's impossible. Income tax is not able to collect tax from that person from any other country. So because in this case, if we did not collect tax from Mr. A this year before he leave India, then what will happen? Might be we are going to lose this tax, and that would be the loss for our country. This revenue loss would be the loss for our country, for the persons, for those government could use this tax for the benefit. So government decided if any person is leaving India permanently, then he needs to pay tax for that income, whatever he has earned in India till the date he is leaving India. Without paying tax, he would not be allowed to leave India. Clear? So these kind of 5-6 cases we are going to discuss. So you can see in this cases government does not have any choice. So इसको हम ऐसे हिंदी में कह सकते हैं, इसका नाम होना चाहिए अभी नहीं तो कभी नहीं. तो अगर if we did not collect the tax right now in this year, so might be we are not able to collect the tax in the next year also. So you might understand what kind of provision we are going to study. So now when we will study the theoretical provision, you will understand, okay, what is the process going and why the process is going, okay? So one by one, we will discuss those provision. Shri Das, Golden Visa, okay. Shri Haridas is asking, if 4 friends win a lottery together and share the prize money, will look who actually purchased the lottery would be treated as the income of that person who has purchased the lottery. Okay. So if you 4 of them combinedly purchase the lottery, in that case, it could be a AOP. But of course, practically it would not be happen. Any one of you could need to purchase the lottery ticket. Suppose you have gone to then KBC and you won the 5 crore rupees from that KBC or 7 crore rupees. And you came back and you divide into your friends. So that does not mean that you are an AOP. You will be still treated as an individual. Okay. So now we are discussing the provision. These are the exception, general rule income of a previous year assessed in the next year. That's a general rule. But we are discussing the exception to this rule. All 5 cases are similar. The basic concept in all these 5 cases are similar, that if we are not going to collect tax in this year, might be we are not going to collect tax ever. First is shipping business of non-resident. The example we have discussed, that is for second point, that is person leaving India. Before that, one case is shipping business, second is person leaving India, third is AOP, BOI, AGP formed for a particular event. Fourth is when anyone trying to transfer his property to avoid tax. And the fifth one is discontinued business. Somebody was asking about the liquidation of a company. So that would be the case of discontinued business. Okay. One by one, we are going to discuss these cases with the help of example also. So first one was non-resident shipping business. This is only for a non-resident shipping business. Now, you might be thinking, what is the meaning of non-resident? So we have chapter number 2, in which we are going to discuss in detail what is resident, what is non-resident. For a time being, I can tell you that suppose a person who is residing outside India, that is a non-resident who does not live in India. A person who is residing outside India, generally we treat them as non-resident. A detailed and technical meaning we are going to discuss in second chapter. Okay. And if that non-resident is involved in shipping business, provision says a non-resident who is carrying on a shipping business comes to India and earned income. That means freight. So Mr. A, suppose, is a non-resident. He comes to India with his ship. Suppose this is a ship, okay? And from India, he unloaded the goods and charged freight. Freight of rupees, suppose 60 lakh rupees freight he charged from the person. So that is an income which is earned from India. He earned that income. And what will happen? He will take the 60 lakh rupees and going back. So income tax say no. We have included you in the exception category. So if you want to leave India, first of all, you have to pay tax on the income which is earned in India. Now, technically, this 60 lakh is revenue or is income? What is this? Revenue or income? This 60 lakh will be constituted as revenue or income. What we will say this? Of course, that is a revenue. And tax need to be paid on revenue or income. Ajitha, it's not income, it's revenue, like sale. So it's a kind of a receipt, or we can say it's fees, or we can say it's sale. So it is like it's turnover. But tax need to be paid on net profit. So that could be income. So he will say, how I will find out my net profit from this 60 lakh, because I have to go back to my country. I have to prepare a profit and loss account. I have to see what are the expenses, salary, etc., fuel expenditure, license fees. Then I can tell you what is my profit. So I would be liable to pay tax on my profit. But income tax, no. Once he is gone forever. So income tax made a specific percentage, and that is 7.5%. It's a fixed percentage. Income tax say whatever you have earned from India, the 7.5% of 60 lakh, we will fixed. Treat it as income. Whether real profit is more or less does not matter. The 7.5% would be treated as your income. So that would comes 4 lakh 50,000. Clear? So whatever tax should need to be paid, he needs to pay on 4 lakh 50,000. If it is exempt, there is no tax up to that limit, then he needs not to pay tax. But if there is tax, he needs to pay tax first. Either he needs to pay tax or someone should take the responsibility from India that let him go, I am ready to pay a tax. Officially, somebody needs to take the responsibility. Only in that case, he would be allowed to leave India. So you can see the provision says, tax is charged on such person or such person has to make prescribed arrangement. That means he needs to appoint someone who will take the responsibility. And the person who will take the responsibility would be have that wealth, etc., that he could pay legally. Because if he did not pay, the non-resident did not pay, then government will recover from that person who is going to take the responsibility for payment of tax. So first case is non-resident shipping business. Second is exactly the same case, what we were discussing. The same example is there, where it appears to the AO. AO means assessing officer, the income tax officer. We call it assessing officer, in short, AO. That any individual may leave India during the previous year and has no intention to come back. So if you are going on a tourist visa or for traveling or tour purpose, then this provision would not be applicable. This would be applicable only if you are leaving India permanently. Then the total income of such individual of that previous year will be taxable in the same year. Here is an example. You can go through it, of course. Very simple provision. The third case also similar. Assessment of AOP. Now we know what is the meaning of AOP, BOI, AJP, formed for a particular event or purpose under section 174A. So it says, suppose, is there any event which is going to be held in India by forming a AOP, BOI, and AJP. And after that event, that AOP, BOI, or AJP is going to be dissolved. Then in that case, we have to charge the tax in the same year. Suppose any musician, singer is coming into India for any event. Like suppose Justin Bieber is coming into India and he is going to perform 4 shows in India. And for that purpose, AOP or a BOI or AJP has been formed in India by him or on behalf of him, any other person for that tour purpose. And after having that completion of that tour, that AOP, BOI, and AJP is going to be dissolved. So in that case, the tax of that year need to be paid in the same year. Understand? Point number 4 says assessment of person trying to transfer his asset with a view to avoid tax. Now that is very subjective case. In this case, we cannot say that always tax need to be paid in the same previous year because there is subjective situation we have to see on the basis of the fact of the cases. Suppose there is Mr. Iron Man in India. Fine. He resided in India. And in previous year, 24-25, he was having certain asset like he was having land, building, car, investments, like in shares, mutual funds, etc. Having bank account, etc. So what is happening in the previous year, 24-25, he's transferring each and everything. He sold his land, suppose for 60 lakh rupees. He was residing in a house. He transferred that house, suppose for 1.50 lakh rupees. He sold his car also for 10 lakh rupees. He liquidated his all mutual fund shares, etc. for 100 lakh rupees. He's withdraw all account from his bank. Suppose that was 30 lakh rupees. So technically what is happening? This assessee is transferring all his asset. Now what is the scenario? The provision says there is a chapter of capital gain. So if you transfer any asset, income tax say you need to pay the tax on the profit you generated, on the profit. Suppose the land he sold for 60 lakh, the net profit or the gain from that was 20 lakh. On building, suppose 100 lakh. On car sale, suppose there is no profit. On investment, suppose the profit is 50 lakh. Withdrawal from bank account, technically there is no profit. So technically he is having a profit of 170 lakh. So he transferred his house, etc., everything. Now, as an assessing officer, I am having reports of transferring of this land because whenever you transfer your property, the registrar office sent information or intimation to the income tax department. So I came to know that Mr. Ironman has transferred his land, his building, his car, his investment, his bank account, and he's not purchasing anything again. He's transferred his building, but he did not purchase any other building to reside. He liquidated his investment, but he did not invest in any other place. And why he is withdrawing money from his bank account? So he needs to pay tax on 170 lakh. So if he's doing this kind of activity to liquidate each and everything, so that there may be a doubt in our opinion that maybe he trying to avoid the tax on this. How he can avoid the tax? Suppose he lives in Kanpur. After liquidating each and everything, suppose he shifted into some other place in India. Any other place that could be suppose Chennai. So he is shifted from Kanpur to Chennai. So in the assessment year, it would be really difficult for the income tax department to locate him. Because if you have transferred your property, you have changed your phone number, you have transferred your car, your bank account has been closed, and you shifted to another place, then practically it is very difficult for income tax to locate that person and to collect tax. But in one case, the point number 2, in which person is leaving India to avoid tax. Even in India, it is possible if you leave India, because it's a huge and big country. So from one place, if you shift it into another place, then for the purpose of income tax or even police, it's very difficult to locate you and collect tax from you. So there might be a reason, there might be a case that Iron Man maybe wants to avoid the taxes. That's why he is transferring each and everything. So in that scenario, if AO thinks, this is a subjective case. So if AO thinks the intention to transferring property is to avoid tax, then what we will do, we will collect the tax in the same previous year. And if Ironman proves, no, there is no intention to doing this because I have transferred all these things and I am on a rented property in the same place, or I need money for any medical treatment or any of my personal needs. So there is no intention to avoid the tax. I will pay tax in the next year. And if assessing officer is satisfied by his explanation, then this concept would not be applicable. So if you are leaving India, the concept is mandatory. If you are a non-resident shipping business, the concept is mandatory. If you formed a AJP, etc. for an event and you are going to dissolve it, this provision is mandatory. But in this case, it will depend upon the fact of the cases. The last one is discontinued business. So if any company, partnership, firm, etc. is going to be discontinued in this year, then after liquidation, whatever income they have earned from April till the liquidation, they will say we will pay tax in the next year. But after liquidation, is really difficult to again find out all the directors, all the partners to collect tax because the business premises must have been closed. So income tax need to find the director's premises or the partner's premises or the proprietor, which is maybe very difficult to locate and collect tax. So in the case of discontinued business, again, the provision has been set up that before liquidation, you have to pay the tax of that year in the same previous year to avoid the tax avoidance concept. So those were the exception in which government needs to collect tax in the same previous year. Okay. Income revenue, point number 3. Okay, Rajita is asking, sir, please, once again, point number 3. If you can go back, YouTube we are discussing, so you can scroll back and you can again see what we are discussing. But for time being, I can give you an example that suppose some musician is coming to India. Clear? The point number 2 says when any person who reside in India leaves India, then we need to collect tax before he leaves. But suppose a musician like Justin Bieber is coming into India. So he's not the person who generally reside in India. He's a foreigner. And he comes to conduct a show and forming an AOP or BOI or AJP. And there is no permanent structure, no permanency in that business or that organization. That AOP will end after the show. So in that case, government says that you have to pay tax in the same year without leaving, before leaving India. Now suppose, let me change the example. Suppose Reliance company is sponsor an event and call any musician from outside India for the purpose of this. A Reliance company has paid fees to him and all the money of collection from tickets or sponsorship, etc. is going to be with Reliance. So whatever tickets collection, etc. is being with Reliance, on this case, this scenario would not be applicable because Reliance is not going to be dissolved in that year. So they will pay tax on the income they will earn from that show. But whatever the musician will collect from the Reliance, etc., on which they have to pay tax, or the responsibility would be taken by the Reliance to pay the tax. So this would be applicable only those cases on which those singer, musician, artist are coming to India for their shows and form an AOP, BOI or AJP only till that event purpose. And after that event, that would be dissolved. So technically you can see point number 3 and point number 5 are just similar. 5 is for all business. If they discontinue in the previous year, you have to pay tax in the same year. And 3rd is only for AOP, BOI and AJP. Again, they are going to dissolve in the same year. That means discontinue in the year. So you have to pay tax in the same year only. Okay. Now next is undisclosed source of income. So now we are talking about the black money. And जब black money की बात हो रही है तो फिर black penny use करते हैं. So we are talking about black money. So there are cases in which these income would be treated as black money. Now what is the exception? What we are discussing? The exception we discussed earlier, that was for white money. That there are 5 circumstances if you earn white money, and we know that we are not able to collect that tax in the next year. So we will charge the tax in the same year on that white money. So there was no black money concept in the earlier concept we just have gone through. But in this case, we need to discuss the provision regarding black money and what is the difference. So technically, we all know what is the meaning of black money, the money on which we are not paying any tax, or we hide that amount of income, or we escape the amount of money on which tax need to be paid, but we have escaped that amount. So that will create our black money. Now, what exception we are going to discuss in this case? This is connected with our previous year or assessment year concept. So we have discussed earlier that 24-25 was the previous year. 25-26 would be the assessment year. Now, logically, suppose if Mr. A earned 20 lakh rupees in this previous year, fine. So this is my earning year. So for this 20 lakh rupees, what would be called earning year? 24-25. And suppose he disclosed this full income in assessment year 24-25, that I have earned 20 lakh rupees in 24-25. So he disclosed the full income in 25-26. Okay. So now the earning year would be 24-25, and the previous year for this income would also be same 24-25. So in case of white money, means which income you disclosed to pay tax in assessment year, that would be my white money. So in case of white money, or we can say the amount of money you disclose to pay tax in assessment year, the earning year and the previous year would always be same. So we have earned 20 lakh rupees and we have decided to disclose full 20 lakh rupees in assessment year 25-26 by telling them that we have earned this income in 24-25. So income tax say, okay, the previous year for this income would be 24-25. So previous year would be 24-25. And of course, earning year would be 24-25. So that is a universal rule that in case of white money, the earning year and previous year will be always same. But suppose in the same question, if Mr. A earns 20 lakh rupees, out of which he disclosed only 15 lakh rupees in assessment year 25-26, that I have earned only 15 lakh in previous year 24-25. So now income tax say, okay, you are declaring that you have earned only 15 lakh rupees. So now what will happen? For this 15 lakh rupees, what you have declared, the earning year and previous year would be same. Out of this 20 lakh for the purpose of 15 lakh, the earning year and previous year will remain same. But rupees 5 lakh, which you have earned in 24-25, the earning year would be 5 lakh for this, earning year would be 24-25 for this 5 lakh. But you did not disclose it. So income tax does not know about this income yet. So earning year would be remain 24-25. But suppose after some year income tax find out this income. Suppose in the year 28-29, income tax find out this income, that you have escaped 5 lakh rupees by any documents or details or any information. Suppose they have find out in this year. So now what will happen? Income tax will come to know about this income in 28-29. So for this 5 lakh rupees, now 28-29 would be treated as previous year. In case of black money, there is no concept of assessment year, the collection of tax having different recovery procedure. So now for this 5 lakh, earning year would be 24-25. But previous year would be always changed. Now that would be 28 and 29, or whatever year in which income tax will come to know about this income. So we can say for the purpose of white money, earning year, previous year will always be same. In case of black money, earning year, previous year will always be different. It cannot be same because you must have earned that income in 24-25 and you have escaped it. So whenever you are going to disclose, the department is going to find it out themselves. Then the previous year would be that year in which the department will find that income. So that would be different previous year and earning year. What kind of income would be treated as black money, that we are going to discuss in our exception. So in all these 6 cases, the previous year and earning year would be not equal. Okay. So we have already written about it. Previous year for unexplained cash, credit, investment, etc. Cases where earning year and previous year is different. In case of white money, they always be same. And in case of black money, previous year and earning year would be always different. I've told you there would be no assessment here. The collection process, the recovery procedure in case of black money is different. There is no normal assessment here concept is applicable. Okay. What is money laundering? That black money, white money is a money laundering concept. Okay. Anil Army is asking, sir, only CA can convert black money into white, right, sir, as per income tax act? What are you talking about? No, but no CA is going to do that. And black money and white money conversion, that is not a question to be asked. No CA will do that. No CA should do that. Tax audit. Again, I have asked you multiple times, last session also and right now also. Why are you asking those questions? Those does not in our syllabus or not connected with our topic. That will kill not only your and my time. Whenever you ask this kind of question, the students who is watching this class like 100 or 200 or even 10 or 15, whatever they are, you are wasting all students' time. So I need to skip those kind of questions, and I again humbly request you, please do not ask questions. Those are not connected to the topic we are discussing. Okay. Again, Anil, you are asking the same question. As per new income tax, only CN can go. We are not discussing the tax audit work right now, na? Why you are asking, beta? Please, okay? Raunak Manuch is asking, when will we learn about the slab rate after this topic? Our second topic is rate of taxes. So have patience. Time will come when you will get whatever you want. Priyanka Saravala is black money, sort of, okay? Anil Army is saying sorry. No issue. It's okay. If you understand, that's the best thing. So sorry, it's not required. But if you understand what I'm trying to convey, so that would be really good. Thank you so much, Anil. Abhishek is asking, sir, what will be the assessment tier for unexplained incomes? I have told you there is no assessment tier concept. The recovery procedure is different. There is only earning year and previous year. The recovery process is not like a normal case. So there would not be any assessment tier concept. Okay. So let's move on further. Now we are discussing what kind of income could be treated as your undisclosed income. First one is cash credit. So it says where any sum is found credited in the books of an assessee maintained for any previous year, an assessee has no explanation about the nature and source thereof, or the explanation offered by him is not on the of the opinion of A is satisfactory, then such sum may be charged to income tax as the income of the assessee. I have also prepared certain diagrams and charts, and I believe that you must have gone through with that. I have uploaded the notes. Let me show you. Like this is the chart for undisclosed income. So for your help, I have made this chart and with example also. So if you want, you can go with this chart, and the provisions and examples are also there to make you understand. This is for previous year for unexplained cash credit, investment, etc. So you can see this is the diagram. So Section 68, cash credit. 69, undisclosed income, undisclosed money, investment not fully disclosed, unexplained expenditure, and Hundi, section 69D. So examples are also given one by one to make you understand all the concept very easily. You can also go through with this chart. Let me explain you in short, one by one. So if there is any cash credit entry has been found in your books of accounts, suppose there is a cash entry in your books accounts, 10 lakh rupees. Out of this 10 lakh, only 1 lakh has been disclosed to income tax department for the purpose of paying of tax. And now department asks, what is this 9 lakh rupees for? And if you do not have any explanation, then this could be treated as your black money. Okay. Same way, unexplained investment. In the balance sheet, you have shown that building value is 0 and submitted this balance sheet to the income tax department. After 3-4 years, and suppose this is for previous year, 24-25. After 3-4 years, income tax has made a raid on your house or an office and find out that you have invested in building. You have the registered copy. You have invested in building. You have the registry copy of that building, which has been invested in previous year 24-25, and the value is 50 lakh rupees. So in the 24-25 income tax detail information, you have shown building value 0. But when income tax search in 2028-29 made a search at your house or office and find out that there is an investment, that means registered deed of purchasing a property dated 24-25, that was 50 lakh, but you did not disclose it. So what income tax will assume? That this 50 lakh must have been purchased out of your black money. So the value of that investment could be treated as your black money if you are not able to explain the source and the nature. Same, point number 1 was saying that there is an entry in the books of accounts of 10 lakh rupees, out of which you can only explain 1 lakh rupees entry, and 9 lakh rupees entry you cannot explain. So that would be your income. So in point number 1, real money was not there, only entry was there in the books of accounts. So unexplained entries will also be treated as your black money. Now third point is reverse. Now income tax found money. At your house, 50 lakh rupees cash has been found. And in the cash in hand, in the books of account has been showing only 10 lakh rupees. So if excess money has been found at your premises or etc., then the balance would be treated as your black money if you are not able to explain the nature and the source. The same way, point number 4, amount of investment was there but not fully disclosed. You have shown building for only 10 lakh rupees, but the building registered value income tax found 40 lakh rupees. So difference would be treated as your, again, black money. So you will see point number 1, 2, 3, 4 almost similar. One is saying entry is there, no explanation, black money. Second is say investment is there, not shown in the books of accounts, black money. Third is saying money has found, not in the books of accounts, black money. Fourth is saying investment is there, shown also, but not at full value, shown less, undervaluation, then difference would be your black money. So if you will read those 4 points, the concept exactly same as was same in the last exception we have discussed, that somebody is doing shipping business, somebody is going out of India, somebody is forming AOP, etc. The same concept is running. So in all these cases, the year in which government will find that would be treated as previous year, and earning year would be that year to which that investment relates. Example is also here. Now, fifth point is interesting. This is slightly different from the above 4 points. Above 4 points was discussing about the income. And now this is discuss about the expenditure. Shivani Pal is saying, sir, we can say black money is those money we know pay tax on this money. Bang on. Correct, Shivani. Absolutely right. Black money is only that money on which you are not paying tax. That's it. So if you earn any income out of any mode and you are going to pay tax, that would not be treated as black money, that would be my white money. Okay. Ms. Ritika, which year black money taxable? Generally in the year in which government found it. I have told that it's a separate procedure for taxability of black money, the recovery procedure, etc. Quite different. No assessment year concept is applicable on that. Okay. अब अमित कुमार इज आस्किंग हेल्थ एंड एजुकेशन सेस कितना लगता है? अमित कुमार जी, अभी हम रेट ऑफ टैक्स के टॉपिक पर आएंगे, वहां आपको रेट्स ऑफ टैक्स भी बताई जाएंगी किस पर कितनी लगती, वहां हम सरचार्ज भी डिस्कस करेंगे किस पर कितना लगता है, और वहां हेल्थ एंड एजुकेशन सेस का भी पॉइंट आएगा। वैसे 4% लगता है ऑन टैक्स प्लस सरचार्ज इफ एनी, बट जस्ट हैव पेशेंस, सब डिस्कस कर दूंगा, सब रिलैक्स। हम पूरी स्टडी, पूरे टॉपिक सब डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, कुछ भी नहीं छोड़ा। ओके, सो जस्ट बी पेशेंट। Okay, so unexplained expenditure under section 69C. Now it says if you have done any expenditure which does not suits your income, so income tax might come to you and ask how you did that expenditure when that is not corresponding to your income earned. So that would be out of, might be your black money. For example, suppose Mr. B is doing a business from last 10 years. And whatever information he has submitted to the income tax department, according to that information, his capital is maximum, suppose 60 lakh rupees. Suppose, just suppose, okay. And now Mr. B purchased a property of rupees 100 lakh. But as per income tax, whatever information he has submitted, his capital is only 60 lakh rupees. So maximum amount of investment or expenditure he can do is, of course, up to 60 lakh rupees. It's just like your pocket money. But if your parents gives you a pocket money 5,000 per month, then how you are able to purchase anything or any expenditure more than 5,000? Suppose you have expended in a month 8,000 when your parents provide you 5,000. So now you have to explain to your parents how 3,000 rupees has been extra with you to do that expenditure. Either you must have an explanation that you have borrow money from someone, or you have your past saving was yourself last month or before that month. So either you are going to satisfy them, okay, I have earned that income, extra amount has been received from as borrowing or my past saving. If that is not explained, then of course there is 3,000 which has come from any other source. So that need to be asked. In the same way, if as per income tax record you are having 60 lakh rupees capital, then the whatever expenditure you can do, even after liquidity or all capital, that could not exceed 60 lakh. If it is done, then income tax will ask you how this 40 lakh has been expended. So either you can prove that I have taken a loan. So for that purpose, you must have loan papers. Of course, if you do not have any loan details, of course, that would be treated as your black money. So if you are doing any huge expenditure, you should consult to your CA or your financial consultant, or your parents must consult them. Whenever they are going for a huge expenditure, they must have asked to their CA or financial consultant, what is my capital, how much I need to take loan, and how much I can invest from my capital. Because if there is a huge mismatch, you could be asked a question from where you got that money. And if you are not able to answer, that means that is from your black money sources. I hope it's clear. Now the last one is Hundi. Amount borrowed or repaid on Hundi. So Hundi is a vernacular language name. It could be other name also, Parchi, Hundi, etc., etc. So in case of Hundi, the amount which has been repaid or borrowed on Hundi could be treated as black money. Now for the purpose of understanding this Hundi concept, I need to discuss in a very short discussion about this Hundi mechanism. So you would be able to understand what exactly has been going to treat it as black money in case of Hundi transaction. So you might have gone through with the Hundi transaction system in foundation, I believe. But let me explain you from the point of view of income tax in very short. Suppose this is a local market of any city. The local market. Like the local shoe market. Now, what is happening? Mr. A, it's like bills receivable and bills payable kind of sort of instrument, but that is not recorded anywhere. Hundi, the problem with Hundi is this, that is not recorded anywhere, and this is the problem with income tax department. They do not know how much amount of money is flowing from one person to another person on the basis of these documents, which has not been recorded anywhere. Suppose Mr. A sells shoes worth rupees 5 lakh to Mr. B. So he is the buyer in this and he's the seller. Mr. B is not going to pay anything to Mr. A right now. He promised to pay. He will write a hundi that I promise to pay to the bearer or Mr. A amount of 5 lakh rupees after 3 months. And he gives this parchi or hundi or instrument to Mr. A. Now Mr. A is having two options. Either he can wait for 3 months and after 3 months he can come and take the money from Mr. B. But suppose Mr. A needs money urgently. Mr. A after 1 month needs money or he needs money right now. Then in that case, he can take that hundi with himself and can go to any person in this market who is wealthy, rich and powerful generally, like a bank. So he's just like a bank, but that is unofficial bank, the money lender, etc. Suppose that is Mr. C. He will give this hundi to Mr. C and Mr. C will pay him in cash or pay him by any mode, not the full amount, at some discounted price, just like a BR. Okay. Suppose he said, I will pay you 4 lakh and 80,000 rupees. So Mr. A got 4 lakh 80,000 rupees and now this hundi is with Mr. C. Now what will happen after expiry of 3 months? Mr. C will transfer this hundi to Mr. B and will receive 5 lakh rupees. So 20,000 rupees Mr. C is earning as a commission. Whatever Mr. A is gaining, Mr. A is having money right now. What is Mr. B is gaining? He is getting the time of borrowing for 3 months. And this all transaction is just based on a parchi on a slip of paper that is called hundi. And after this transaction has been executed after 3 months, that paper is going to be destroyed. So what will happen? Government don't know who is paying cash to whom. Of course, the amount Mr. C is paying to Mr. A would be in cash generally, and that is might be from his out of his black money. So once the hundi has been destroyed, then you cannot trail this transaction. That who is Mr. C, who is paying this, who is going to pay to Mr. B. So how this money is rotating, and that might be black money is rotating in the market, and it's going to be huge in our country in local market. So that is the way the hundi works. Now, what income tax say under section 69D? Income tax say whatever amount is going to be borrowed or repaid on hundi. So the amount borrowed on hundi or repaid against hundi, yani ki this amount and this amount we are talking about. So whatever amount is borrowing or repaid on hundi, that should be only by account pay check. That should not be in any other mode, account pay check or RTGS or those transaction mode from which we can identify who is transferring the money to whom, not bearer check. It should be by account pay check or any other those mode like RTGS, IMPS, NEFT, etc. So we will find out who is giving money, who is having that much of money that he's giving 4 lakh 80 to Mr. A or might be 10 lakh to Mr. B or C or D. So is this person who is distributing this funds is actually showing that income in his books of accounts? So the restriction has been made by section 69D and it says whatever amount has been borrowed or repaid on hundi, should be via account paycheck, etc., or by some government specified mode. And if it not happened like this, then that amount is going to be treated as black money. The amount borrowed or repaid on hundi is going to be treated as black money in the hands of the person who is borrowing or repaying the amount. So the person who is borrowing that amount or repaying that amount, that amount is going to be considered as his black money in this situation. So that was the scenario under section 69D, which has been prescribed by the income tax department. You need not to understand the mechanism of hundi. That is just for your knowledge. I've explained, so you will understand more clearly what exactly we are discussing. But the concept for the purpose of Income Tax Act is very clear. Any amount which is borrowed or repaid on hundi would be treated as the black money in the hands of the borrower or repayer. Where any amount borrowed on hundi or any amount due thereon has been repaid, other than account pay check drawn on a bank, the amount so borrowed or repaid will be treated as the deemed income of the person borrowing or repaying such amount. Okay, so you might understand now what exactly the hundi case. Now, in all these above cases, all these 6 above cases, what we have discussed, slab rate would not be applicable. In this case, the tax rate has been prescribed directly 60%. Suppose the 5 lakh rupees treated as black money, then the tax would be directly 60% 60%, that would be 3 lakh plus 25% surcharge and 4% cess. So cumulatively, you have to pay at least 78% as your tax liability. Interest and penalties, alag se. So on this 5 lakh rupees, the 78% need to be paid only as tax only. The interest penalty would be separately charged. No reduction, no exemption in respect of any expenditure. Like suppose in our country, up to 5 lakh or 7 lakh, there is no tax. And you have only this 5 lakh has been caught by the department as black money. You are saying till 5 lakh, there is no tax. So you cannot tax this 5 lakh rupees because I do not have any other income. But this is not allowed in case of black money. So no reduction, no exemption, no basic exemption limit. You cannot claim anything out of this black money. Such income will be liable to tax and tax will be recovered as prescribed mode. Clear, students? Now this is concept and definition of income. What is the meaning of income? Characteristics of income. Now, multiple characteristics of income like regular income versus casual income. Regulars are those income. After 3, 4, 5 minutes, we will take a break. Regular income means the income what we receive regularly, monthly, like salary. Casual income, what we do not earn regularly, like sale of any asset, lottery winning, etc. What are those income? That is going to be discussed in detail in different kind of chapter. Like salary head, we will discuss regular receipt. Rental income, house property, we will discuss regular receipt. Income from other source and capital gain, we will discuss casual receipt there. Again, revenue receipt and capital receipt, that is going to be discussed in business head. What are revenue receipt and what are capital receipt? Net receipt versus gross receipt. So income is going to be taxable on net receipt basis after deducting expenditure. Gross receipt technically like sale and net receipt is like net profit. So income tax is going to be charged on net receipt, not on gross receipt. Due basis and receipt basis. Under certain cases, income due basis taxability, as in case of salary head, income from house property, and capital gain. In 3 heads of cases, income tax is taxable on due basis, whether received or not. But in business or income from other sources, you have the option to either taxable your income on receipt basis or due basis. So what is this due basis, receipt basis? Again, those are going to be discussed. So those numerical topic we are discussing like salary, house property, capital gain will enlighten about the due basis taxability, and business other source will give us enlightenment on the receipt basis taxability. Application of income and diversion of income. So once you receive the income, once you receive the income, after that, if you distribute that income to anyone, that is called application of income. So it does not matter. That income is going to be taxable in your hand. Suppose I am doing a job and I will receive 1 lakh rupees per month. And I promise my friend that I will pay you 20,000 rupees every month from my salary income. So first off, that salary is going to be received in my account and I have applied that auto pay, that every month that 20,000 will be automatically transferred into my friend's account automatically. So now if I'm receiving 1 lakh and as soon as I receive that, out of that 1 lakh, 20,000 is transferred to my friend's account. So technically I am receiving 80,000 rupees only. So do I need to pay tax on 80,000 or 1 lakh rupees? The answer is 1 lakh rupees, because this transfer is called application of income. So once you received or earned income in your name, then after that, if you transfer it, that does not make a difference. You have to pay tax on full value. So application of income does not change your tax liability. The amount you have earned, even if applied to someone else, it does not make a difference. The whole amount need to be taxable in your hand. The amount received by Mr. your friend 20,000, that is also going to be taxable in his hand as a gift, etc. But we are discussing from the point of view of Mr. A. In that case, that application or use of income does not make any difference. Diversion of income is having separate concept. So if there any kind of diversion of income, that would not be treated as your income. Suppose there is a partnership firm in which there are three partners, A, B, and C. Clear? And in that partnership firm, you have make a partnership deed in which it has been written that after the death of any partner, if any partner deceased, then 20% of the profit of that firm would be transferred to the legal heir of that partner. Suppose the partner's wife. Suppose out of ABC, A died. Then whatever profit the firm earn, out of that profit, 20% would be transferred to A's wife. So that would be a diversion of income case. In that case, suppose 10 lakh rupees is the profit, 2 lakh has been diverted because it has been written in the partnership deed already. Then the income of firm would be considered only 8 lakh rupees on which firm needs to pay tax. Concept of revenue and capital receipt we'll discuss under different chapters, of course. Now the definition of income. This definition we do not need to discuss because there are 23, 24 multiple points and every point is going to be discussed in different chapter. I have written in which chapter that is going to be discussed one by one. Like profit and gains under PGBP, business chapter. Dividends under income from other sources. Voluntarily contribution under trust provision. Value of perquisite under salary topic, etc. So this is just for reading. You can read it, but the detail and the concept would be discussed later in the heads of income. So these are the points you can go through. In every point I have written in which head this is going to be discussed. So that was part one. That was theoretical, and I believe that is quite, sometime it becomes more boring or monotonous, like same theoretical provision, same definition, etc. A lot of things needs to be discussed in further chapters. So that is the problem with this basic concept topic, that a lot of things needs to be discussed in chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. But that has been done. Now we will move on to our second topic, that is numerical topic and very important for all of you and us also, that is rate of taxes. Who needs to pay tax at which slab rate and surcharge and cess. So that we will discuss, of course, after a short break. So you can send me your queries. After the break, I will take the queries and then we'll move on to our second topic. So Manish ji, can we take a break? Welcome back, everyone. I believe you must have take your tea, coffee, etc. So before moving on, let me see your queries. Okay, Omkar was asking what is Hundi. So I have explained that, Omkar. I believe that must have been cleared now. Unexplained expenditure is falsely showing expenditure. That could be a possibility that if you have claimed some expenditure which is not real, like you have shown the purchase bills, but that is not real bills. You did not make actual purchase. If that is a bogus purchase, then again that would not be considered as your purchase, and that amount can be treated as your black money. Okay. Okay, next is Silesh is asking, sir, we normally file this income tax online. How can we convince AO? Have we need to go to income tax office? Yes, if income tax has any doubt, they will issue you a notice, and either they will ask you to upload the documents online, or they even can call you physically into their office, and then you need to disclose your or give your explanation with documents and details. That is called assessment procedure, and that would be discussed at final level in detail. Sri Haridas is asking, any person has incurred any expenditure and he offers no explanation to the AO about the source of income to pay off such expenditure. Yes, if there is no explanation about the income, investment, entry, money, expenditure, that is going to be treated as your black money generally. नंदिनी शर्मा इज सेइंग, सर कभी हम लोग अनऑथराइज्ड वे जैसे रिलेटिव से भी लोन उठाते हैं, उस सिचुएशन में तो कोई पेपर वर्क नहीं होता है, ऐसे सिचुएशन में भी क्या वो ब्लैक मनी में आएगा या फिर इसको बताना होता है? अगर आपने रिलेटिव से, दोस्तों से लोन लिया है और अगर इनकम टैक्स ये पूछता है, तो आपको उन्हें बताना पड़ता है कि ये हमने लोन विदाउट डॉक्यूमेंट्स लिया है, एंड दैट इज अलाउड। बट इनकम टैक्स उस दोस्त से कंफर्म करेगा कि क्या आपने सच में लोन दिया है, उनको बुला भी सकता है, उनसे डॉक्यूमेंट्स कंफर्मेशन बेस पे भी मांग सकता है। एंड लेट मी टेल यू, अगर उन्होंने सच में दिया होगा तभी वो एक्सेप्ट करेंगे, अगर उन्होंने नहीं दिया है तो वो ब्लैक मनी माना जाएगा। ओके। Hundi means promissory note. Yes, we can say it, but that is not official promissory note. That is those promissory note which is outside the official, we can say, restriction of that negotiable instruments. So who is going to pay tax on that 5 lakh by Mr. A or Mr. C? Those are the borrower. Like Mr. A also need to pay tax because he borrow money other than cash. And Mr. C also need to because he takes the money on repayment of the hundi. So that could be black money in both of cases. Themo G, sir, when I worked at I worked at income and consult office. There is a one case, one company have to pay 30 lakh to sales tax office. Is that also called a black money, sir? Let me tell you very interesting things. Income tax does not differentiate between legal and illegal money. So even if somebody is receiving bribe, and if he is ready to pay tax on that bribe, so that would convert it into the white money. In that case, income tax will not do anything. But that, yes, it is a criminal offense. It is a not a you should not take bribe. So that could be a different proceeding against you. But black or white money concept will never come the way you earn that income. So if somebody is earning from smuggling and he is paying tax on that, so that amount would be his white money. Other consequences could be there, but income tax does not differentiate between legal or illegal income. So if that person has paid tax on that bribe, that would be white money. Prescribed means a special provision for that. Sir, can you please explain the cumulative, please? Vishnu, 60%. Okay, that was the tax rate. And we need to take 25% of 60%. So you might be adding 60% plus 25% plus 4%. No, it's not like that. Surcharge is always on tax, because we will discuss the provision of surcharge right now. So surcharge means tax on tax. So 25% of 60%, that would come 15%. So 60% plus 25% of 60%, that would be 15. So cumulative now it would be 75%, 60 plus 15. Now cess would be on 75%, surcharge plus tax, the total value on that 4% would be applicable. So now we have to take 4% of 75%, that would be 3. So 60% plus 25%, that would be 15%, and 4% of 75%, that would be 3%. So now aggregate would be 78%, like this. Okay, Vishnu? Rihana, sir, if Mr. A gives Mrs. A rupees 10,000 for expenditure, but Mrs. A did not say that she spent rupees 10,000 and Mr. A did not have the knowledge that she spent it and he recorded rupees 10,000 as cash at hand, then it is unexplained expenditure. Who is recorded as cash in hand? If Mr. A has given that amount to Mrs. A, so that would be, he need to reduce his cash in of hand. So the cash in hand would be with Mrs. A. So that need not to be reported, because that is called, if a husband gives expenditure or some money to her wife for her daily expenditure, that is not going to be treated as wife's income. Okay. Yes, Anubhav, Hundi means unregistered lender, correct. Dhanush is asking, sir, please explain the application of income and diversion of income. And also, in my understanding, A gives money to B, so that is an expenditure. Application of income means whenever, whatsoever reason, if you receive income or earn income once, and after that earning or receipt of income, if you transfer that income to anyone due to any reason, like a donation, expenditure, whatever it is, that is application of income, and it does not affect your taxability. If I have received 1 lakh rupees and after that, if I'm going to transfer that 1 lakh rupees to anyone, it does not matter. My income would be considered at 1 lakh rupees. For diversion of income, there must be some legal obligation to transfer that income before earning. So as I've explained with the help of an example of that partnership deed, so there is a clause which is overriding to earn income. So you have to transfer that income. That is your legal obligation. So that part would not be treated as your income. So that would be the case of diversion of income. Any other? Yes, we have discussed only. Lalit is asking, black money पे tax पे कोई penalty interest होगा? It would be on the subjective basis. Of course, there would be some interest and tax also, but there is a separate procedure for it. So the tax rate we can discuss. How much penalty would be there? How much interest would be there? That would be the separate provision. It is different from case to case basis. Okay, so can we go further, students? Yes, we are going to launch our income tax rate provision. Now, this is numerical part. So if any one of you have interest in numerical or practical things, definitely you are going to enjoy this income tax rate provision. Theoretical part was to make you understand the basic concept of income tax, etc. It does not mean that the part A, what we have discussed, is not important. I have told you yesterday also that do not estimate the power or underestimate the power of theoretical provision, because everything is based upon that. Okay. Shivani, thanks, sir, for making more understandable theory concept. Everything is clear. Well done. High five from Wi-Fi. Chalo. Income tax rates now we are discussing. So rates of tax, surcharge, cess, rebate, marginal relief, everything is going to be discussed one by one. First of all, let me explain you in very simple manner so you will understand what income tax rate, how we need to understand them. So we have two scheme, we can say, or we can say we have two system of taxability. One is, optional tax regime and one is default tax regime. So first of all, we are discussing optional tax regime. Now we have seen that there are 8 persons and for each person there are separate tax rate has been specified. First of all, under optional tax regime, let me show you that how person has been differentiated. So there would be individual, and if any individual who is resident in India and having age of 80 years or more, we have separate tax slab rate for those individuals only. Those are resident in India and having an age of 80 years or more. Clear? We have separate slab rate for them. We call them super senior citizen. And for those up to 5 lakh rupees, exemption. That is called basic exemption limit. So if you are an individual, those are resident in India. For the purpose of what is the meaning of resident, we will discuss in detail in chapter number 2. But for the time being, if he reside in India. So if any individual, male, female, does not matter, resident more than or equal to 80 years in India in previous year, that means super senior citizen, then up to 5 lakh rupees, there is a basic exemption limit. So up to 5 lakh rupees, they need not to pay tax. Clear? Another individual category has been made, and it says if you are a resident having age of 60 years or more, but less than 80 years. So we call them senior citizen only. If you are more than 80 years, you will fall in this category. If you are 60 years or more, but less than 80 years and resident, then you will fall in this category. For this category of people, exemption, basic exemption limit is up to 3 lakh rupees only. Not 5 lakh, it's up to 3 lakh rupees. Understand? Now the C category, it says if you are an individual, that means other individual, other than A and B. All individual other than A and B. So who will include in this category? Those having age of less than 60 years, whether resident, non-resident. So we can say all resident plus all resident less than 60 years, plus all non-resident. So non-resident age less than more than 60, 80 does not matter. All kind of non-resident will fall in category number C individual. Resident only those will include those ages less than 60 years. And HUF, all AOP, all BOI, all AJP, whether resident, non-resident does not matter. They will all fall in category C. So category C is very wide. It includes individual other than A and B and includes other 4 category also, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP. So we can see out of those 8% category, 5% has been included in this case. For partnership firm, for LLP, for company, local authority, there are separate rate of taxes that we will discuss after this individual, HUF, etc. For C category of person, the exemption, the basic exemption limit is 2,50,000. I hope it's clear now. For default tax regime, the exemption is very simple. For all individuals, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP, whether resident, non-resident, more than 80, less than 80, no differentiation. The basic exemption limit is 3 lakh. Do not think about that 12 lakh concept you must have heard in some last previous days or weeks. That 12 lakh concept would be applicable from 2026 May examination. This is not applicable for us. Fine. So this is the differentiation. First of all, we are discussing the optional tax rate in detail. So we have bifurcated this optional tax rate. Now let me tell you a very interesting or very simple method to find out the taxability. You need to bifurcate. You have to find it out for which category of person I need to calculate the tax. So in the question, first of all, you have to see whether it's A, individual, B, individual, C is a wide category. Anyone other than A or B, individual will fall in this, as well as HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP will fall in this category, and we are having basic exemption limit of 2,50,000. Now there is a common provision for all these three. Only difference is this basic exemption limit. For them, the exemption limit is 5. For this category, this is only 3. And for other category, it's 250. All other tax rate slabs are almost same for all these categories. Now, let me tell you how to calculate tax, a very simple method. So this income tax is kind of a income train. I called it a income train. We have a income train. Okay. And there is 3 platform has been prescribed. Platform number A. Second income platform number is B. And the third is C. So any income up to 5 lakh. If any income, first platform is up to 5 lakh rupees. So if any income which is up to 5 lakh rupees, we are talking about optional tax rate provision. Okay. We are not discussing for default tax regime, that will be discussed later. First of all, we are discussing optional tax rate provision for these A, B, C category. So if any one of them, A, B or C category income, if income is up to rupees 5 lakh, the tax rate would be 5% only. Whatever income will fall in this category, up to rupees 5 lakh, if any income is going to be taxable, listen me carefully, what I'm saying. If up to 5 lakh rupees, if any income is going to be taxable, if like for this person up to 5 lakh, there is no taxability. So for this person, 5% rate is irrelevant. But for this person, of course, 3 lakh is free. So up to 5 lakh, 3 lakh would be free, but 2 lakh is going to be fall in this category. For this C category person, up to 5 lakh, 2,50,000 free. So maximum 2,50,000 could be the part of this 5 lakh category. Understood? We will solve numerical also. Just wait. So if any income will fall up to this 5 lakh rupees station, that is station number 1, the tax rate would be 5%. Clear? After this 5 lakh, the next 5 lakh rupees, if the next 5 lakh rupees does fall, that means total value is now 10 lakh. Station B total value is 10 because first platform was for 5 lakh. If any income falls in this first initial 5 lakh rupees, the tax rate would be 5%. The next from 5 lakh till 10 lakh, the difference is again 5 lakh rupees. The tax rate would be, if any income will fall in this category, the tax rate would be directly 20%. And if any income exceeding 10 lakh, if any income falls outside this 10 lakh rupees, anything, any portion out exceed this 10 lakh rupees, the rate of tax would be directly 30% till unlimited amount. So first 5 lakh rupees, we can say rate of tax is 5% if taxable. For next 5 lakh rupees, the rate of tax would be 20%. And if that exceed rupees 10 lakh rupees, the balance is going to be taxable at 30%. Now let me solve an example for you. Suppose in the question say Mr. A aged 51 years. He is a resident having income of 8 lakh rupees. And we have to calculate tax. First of all, just tell me in which category Mr. A will fall, A, B or C? As per this concept, A, B or C. What, or we can find it out what exemption, what is the basic exemption limit of for Mr. B, the basic exemption limit. If the age is 51 years and he is a resident, So in which basic exemption limit he will fall? You just need to understand the basic exemption limit because all other provisions are same. Yes, correct. It's 2.5 lakh. It's 2.5 lakh. It's category C, 2.5 lakh, category C. Well done. So he will fall in the category number C. Now let me show you how you need to solve. With the help of this trick, you need not to do anything. Now tell me, out of this 8 lakh, up to 5 lakh would be here. Clear? And up to this 5 lakh, we can say 2.5 lakh is free. No tax. Up to this, from this 8 lakh rupees, up to 5 lakh would be remain with this A category. And out of this 5 lakh, 2.5 lakh is tax free. So balance taxable is only 2.5 lakh. And what is the rate is going to be applicable? 5%. So the amount would be tax 12,500. Now out of this 8 lakh rupees, we have used 5 lakh in this range, in which 2.5 lakh was free and 2.5 lakh is going to be taxable. And what would be the rate? 5%. Because if anything is going to be taxable up to 5 lakh, the rate would be 5%. So the tax on this 2.5 lakh rupees balance would be 12,500. Now, how much will fall in this category? Tell me how much will fall in this category? Of course, 3 lakh rupees. Anubhav, Rihanna, very well done. Nisha, Shrihari, Sohan, Shilan. It's simple mathematics. There is nothing complicated. Yes, if you go and going to read with the table which has been prescribed in the act, that the tax rate would be like this, it would be feel very difficult. But it is very simple. You just need to learn this rate, this might income train, and that the basic exemption limit for which we need to understand for whom the exemption limit is 2.5, for whom it's 3 lakh, and for whom it's 5 lakh. If you have done that, need not to understand anything else to calculate the tax. So the balance is now 3 lakh rupees. And the rate would be, of course, 20%. So that would be, the tax would be 72,500 rupees. Clear? This is the tax liability. Let me show you more example. Now suppose there is Mr. B, aged 70-year, resident. Income is 11 lakh rupees. So it's a kind of a machine. This train is actually like a machine. You need not to do anything. You just need to put the value. So now Mr. B, age 70 years. So what is the basic exemption limit? 3 lakh rupees would be exempted. So now out of 5 lakh, 3 lakh would be exempted value. So balance would remain only 2 lakh rupees. On 2 lakh, the rate would be 5%. That means 10,000 is tax. Out of 11 lakh, 5 lakh has been used up to this level. The balance 5 lakh going to be taxable with 20% tax rate. So that would be 1 lakh. How much balance is exceeding 10 lakh? 1 lakh is the exceeding value, which is going to be taxed at 30% rate. So that is 30,000. So total value is 1,40,000. Solved. Anything difficult in this? Tell me. Did you feel anything is difficult to calculate tax till now? Easy. If you'll focus, this is very simple. Everything is simple if you have focus and interest. Einstein was not able to understand this thing because he was not interested to understand all these things. So if you have interest in your subject, if you want to achieve the goal of your life, everything would be just a simple hurdle for you and you can overcome anything. Okay. Yes, free ticket. Okay. So now one more example. Okay. One more example. इनको सुपर सिटीजन का एग्जांपल एक करते हैं. So now Mr. C, aged 90-year, non-resident, income is 9 lakh. Okay, how much basic exemption limit would be applicable in this case? Priyanka is saying 5 lakh. That's what I was saying. I have written intentionally that is non-resident. Then how, Priyanka, it would be 5 lakh? If it is a non-resident, then age does not matter. If it is a non-resident, it will always fall in C category. So the important thing is not get into the trap of your examiner. So when you feel it's easy, it's not easy. So please read the question properly. I ask you, okay, now third ka question karte hain. So you already thought, okay, 90-year age, it would be 5 lakh. No, read the question proper. The identification of problem is the primary work to solve any question or any problem, even your personal life or professional life. If you will not able to understand the question properly, you cannot find out the correct answer. Okay. So this would be the case of course, again, 2.5 lakh rupees. Let me change it. Mr. C, aged 90-year resident. Okay. Now the basic exemption limit 9 lakh rupees income. Now exemption limit would be 5 lakh rupees. So till 5 lakh rupees, there would be no tax. And excess is 4 lakh rupees. The rate would be 20%. So tax would be 80,000. Done. Solved. So we have learned the tax rate, slab rate. We have not discussed the special tax rate for capital gain, etc. That is going to be discussed in detail in capital gain chapter and income from other source. And the last chapter, that is calculation of tax liability. I will share the rate of taxes with you, but that the numerical part is going to be solved in capital gain, other source, and computation of total tax liability question. We need to understand in basic chapter the basic rate of taxes. Clear? So that was the slab rate. Let me show you the theoretical provision of it. So you understand how difficult it looks like when you read it theoretically, and it is simple when you solve it practically. There's a very interesting thing about the practical or numerical part. Until you will solve those question or numerical, or you will practice it, you will always feel it difficult. On the basis of theoretical provision, you will never going to understand the numerical provision until we solve it or practice it with the help of a question, illustration, etc. Now you will see this is the optional tax regime. These are the tax rates what we were discussing. So look how it has been written over here. You can see this is in case of any other individual, male, female, less than 60-year, resident, all non-resident, male, female, less than, more than 60-year, and HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP. So this is our C case, what we have discussed. First 2,50,000, nil tax. Next 250, 5%. Next 5 lakh, 20%. For citizen, 60-year or more, but less than 80-year. That is our B case. First 3 lakh, no tax. Next 2 lakh, 5%. Next 5 lakh, 20%. Balance 30%. This is our super senior, equivalent to superman. First 5 lakh, nil tax, no tax. You can see that. So 5% rate is not applicable because 5% is applicable only up to 5 lakh rupees. And because he does not need to pay any tax, so 5% tax rate would never is going to be applicable in case of super senior citizen. Yes, if it is more than 5 lakh, then next is going to be taxable at 20%, balance is 30%. So what this table is going to make us understand, we can understand it very simple. That's money train concept. That money income or income train you can understand, and you just need to remember this first point, that how much basic exemption limit is for whom. A special rate of provision, you can see that we are going to discuss in capital gain, income from other source, and last chapter, that is calculation of total income and tax. Do not bother about it. We will discuss it in future. Now, a very interesting clarification. There was a question arise that suppose there is a previous year, 24-25. Fine. So the assessee should attain the age of 60 years during any day of the previous year, at any time during previous year. Now a question arised that suppose someone's birthday is on 1st April 2025. 1st April, the birthday of Mr. A, suppose Mr. A, who is 59 years of age in this previous year, and his 60th birthday is on 1st April 2025. So whether he will be considered as a senior citizen in previous year 2024-25 or not? Or suppose it's his 80th birthday. The problem will arise in case of 60th or 80th birthday. So suppose the birthday is on 1st April 2025, which is a next previous year, 25-26. So of course for 25-26 he is a senior citizen, no problem. But the problem was this one, that on 31st March 2025, whether he should be considered as a senior citizen or not. Because if he is considered as a senior citizen, even his birthday on 1st April, he can get the benefit of that 3 lakh or 5 lakh rupees. But if he is not considered senior citizen, then he needs to pay tax more. So there was a clarification in this regarding, and it says, yes, if the birthday falls on 1st April, we will consider he as a senior citizen for previous year 24-25. And if even its 80th birthday on 1st April, then we will consider him as a super senior citizen in previous year 24-25. So the benefit has been given to the assessee that even your birthday is on 1st, you will be considered as senior citizen for the last previous year also. If the birthday is on 2nd of April, then you cannot take this benefit. Only this benefit if your birthday falls on 1st April. The clarification has been given by circular number 28/2016, dated 27/7/2016. So we have discussed the definition of circular and notification. So these are the example of circulars, which is for the benefit or for the relaxation of law. Okay. The detail with example has been over here. You can go through this example. It has been prescribed over here. Now, after tax, there are concept of rebate. We are discussing only right now the optional tax rate concept. We did not discussing default tax rate. So under optional tax rate, there is a concept of rebate. Rebate is a kind of a discount in tax. That is a discount in tax. So rebate general meaning is discount from tax or discount in tax. So rebate says that you can get a discount of 12,500 rupees or amount of tax, whichever is lower, if your total income is less than 5 lakh rupees or equal to 5 lakh rupees. So whatever will be your tax liability, if your total income is up to 5 lakh rupees, then whatever is your tax liability, you can get a rebate of 12,500 or the amount of tax, whichever is lower. How we will calculate it? We have solved example after this topic. You can see that. So this benefit is only for individuals, and those are resident. This benefit is not for HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP, whether they are resident or not. This rebate advantage is only for individuals, those are resident. For non-resident, no advantage. And this advantage is for 3 conditions should be fulfilled. You must be an individual, you must be resident, and your total income should not exceed 5 lakh rupees. That means it should be maximum up to 5 lakh rupees. How we will give the benefit? Calculation of tax format we will discuss later. Let me show you example like this. Suppose this individual less than 60-year resident. Total income is 2,60,000. So less than 60-year resident, that means basic exemption limit will be 2,50,000. So only 10,000 is going to be taxed, and the tax would be 500. Now you can see he's an individual, he's a resident, and income is less than 5 lakh rupees. So he can get the rebate, and this is the rebate. Rebate says either 12,500 or the amount of tax. How much the amount of tax has been there? 500, whichever is lower. That does not mean that you can take the rebate of 12,500 directly. In that situation, there would be negative 12,000. Negative means income tax will pay you 12,000 rupees. So it is not going to be happen. Otherwise, all of you must have eligible to get 12,500 rupees from income tax department, because you do not have any income. So if rebate does not work like this, that it would be always 12,500. No, it says 12,500 or amount of tax, whichever is lower. So in this case, the rebate would be lower, 500. So tax would be nil. Suppose your income is 2,69,500. In that situation, tax would be 975. So rebate would be 12,500 or 975, whichever is lower. So tax could be nil. It cannot be negative due to the effect of rebate. If income is 3,50,000, the tax would be 5,000. Rebate could be 5,000 or 12,500, whichever is lower. Suppose income is 5 lakh rupees. So rebate would work. Now up to 5 lakh rupees, if you calculate tax, the tax would be 12,500. And now you can say the rebate is 12,500 or tax is also 12,500. So lower or equal, you can take anything. Now the rebate could be 12,500. But if total income exceed 5 lakh, there would not be any rebate. Tax would be 32,500. You cannot claim 12,500 now because exceeding 5 lakh rupees, so there is no rebate. Now, what is this 4% that we will discuss? Do not worry about it. First of all, I am going to explain the rebate concept. If income 270, rebate would be 1,000. In case of senior citizen, more or equal to 60 year, if the income is 3,30,000, so 3 lakh rupees exempted, 5% tax, 1,500. So he can also claim the rebate of 1,500 rupees. If income is 4 lakh, tax would be 5,000. He can claim the rebate, no issues. In case of super senior citizen, they cannot claim rebate. Why? Because their income is exempted automatically up to rupees 5 lakh. So they need not to pay any tax up to rupees 5 lakh. So when they will pay tax, when income is more than 5 lakh, as soon as income will exceed 5 lakh, rebate concept will be gone. So super senior citizen cannot claim rebate ever because up to 5 lakh rebate not need to be used because automatic tax is 0. And once the income exceeding 5 lakh, so rebate would be gone. Let me show you the format for calculation of tax. So how we need to calculate the tax? Calculate tax as per the slab rate, as we seen that basic exemption limit, then 5%, then 20%, and then 30%. If there is rebate, you have to apply it after calculation of tax. You have to apply the rebate if applicable. After that, we have to apply the surcharge. Now, what is surcharge? Surcharge technical means tax on tax. So that is tax on tax. That's why the black money rate was 60% and surcharge rate was 25%. So we do not need to add back like 60 plus 25, 85. No, this would be 25% of 60%. So that comes 15%. Because the name is tax on tax. How we need to calculate surcharge? There are various kind of surcharge we will discuss. We just discussed the slab rate and the rebate provision. Surcharge need to add back. After this, this total would be called A. So tax less rebate plus surcharge, if any, whatever we will have, that is total A, on which cess would be applicable at the rate of 4%. On this A point, 4% cess for health and education need to be added back. This would be my final tax liability. It should be rounded off in multiple of 10 rupees. So this tax liability need to be converted into multiple of 10 rupees. So there are 4 components to calculate your tax liability. The first one is the normal tax slab rates. Then we have to apply rebate if applicable. Then we have to add surcharge if applicable. And then we have to apply cess. Cess is going to be applicable in all cases. Look, rebate is having a specific rule. Up to 5 lakh, you can utilize it. Fine. Surcharge is also having a specific rule. We will discuss later, but let me tell you, surcharge is applicable if your income exceeding 50 lakh rupees. Surcharge rules, it will be applicable only if your income exceeding 50 lakh rupees. So if your income is 10 lakh or 11 lakh or 40 lakh, there is no surcharge. But cess 4% is universal applicability. You can see it is written all cases. If there is tax, you need to apply 4% cess. It does not matter whether income is 50 lakh or less than that. If there is tax, if point number A is there, then you have to apply 4%. on that value, whether surcharge applicable, not applicable, rebate applicable, not applicable. If there is tax, there would be cess. Now you can see in these example, there is no cess because tax is 0, 0, 0, 0. But in this example number 5, you can see there was tax 32,500. Surcharge not applicable because surcharge is applicable when income exceeding 50 lakh and income is only 6 lakh. But cess would be automatically applicable on 32,500, 4%, that is 1,300 rupees. So in the case when there is tax, there will be cess always. Now important note says rebate will provide before calculating cess. You can see that from the above format. Now surcharge rate is 10% on tax if total income exceeding 50 lakh up to 1 crore. So surcharge is also having slab rate. If your income is more than 50 lakh up to 1 crore, the surcharge would be 10% on tax. It would be 15% of tax if your income exceeding 1 crore but up to 2 crore. So rate would be surcharge 15%. How it would be applicable? I will solve multiple questions regarding it. Do not worry. Surcharge rate would be 25% if income exceeding 2 crore up to 5 crore. A surcharge chart also has been prepared by me. I have prepared a lot of diagrams and chart to help you to understand the provision very easily. So we are reading from theoretical concept, but there are diagram chart also there. Do not worry. So that would be 25% if your income more than 2 crore up to 5 crore, and highest rate of surcharge is 37% if your total income is exceeding 5 crore. So you can see as your income is increasing, your tax rate is increasing. Up to 2,50,000, it's nil, or 3 lakh or 5 lakh. Up to 5 lakh also tax is nil because rebate will make your tax 0. As your income increase more than 5 lakh, then rate of tax is 20%. If you are more rich, that you are earning more than 10 lakh, then on that 10 lakh exceeding value, you have to pay rate 30%. If you are more rich, you are earning income more than 50 lakh, then tax as well as surcharge you need to pay. If you are more rich, you are earning income between 1 crore till 2 crore, then the surcharge rate would be 15% of tax. And if it's 2 to 5 crore, it's 25%. And if it's more than 5 crore, the surcharge rate would be 37% of tax. Always remember, it is upon tax, not on income. Income is 10 lakh rupees. That does not mean you have to pay 30% of 10 lakh. Whatever tax will be there, surcharge will be applicable on the tax value, not on the income value. Understood? As I told you, cess would be there in all cases. Total 4% cess is going to be applicable. Surcharge ke liye we have prepared only a chart. So that was optional tax regime. Now we are moving on to default tax regime. The slab rate is very simple because a single slab rate has been prescribed under Section 115 BAC for all individual HUF, BOI, AGP, AOP. Okay. And this is very, very easy. Again, special rates income would be discussed later, like capital gain, etc. Now, in this case, up to 3 lakh, tax is nil. We can say like this: first 3 lakh, no tax. Now 3 to 7 lakhs. So we can write it down like this to understand simply. Next 4 lakh, the rate would be 5%. So that would be tax 20,000. 7 to 10, that means for next 3 lakh, the rate is 10%. So tax would be 30,000. So if my income is 10 lakh, cumulative tax would be 50,000. The next 2 lakh rupees, from 10 to 12, the tax would be 15%. So again, 30,000. From 12 to 15 lakh, that means next 3 lakh rupees, the tax would be 60,000. So up to 15 lakh, if we can see, the tax would be 1,40,000. And anything above 15 lakh, the rate would be 30%. Why I am telling you this? Because suppose in the question, there is 20 lakh rupees income, and they ask you to calculate tax under default tax regime. So it's a shortcut that up to 15 lakh, we know up to 15 lakh, the tax would be automatically 140 in all cases, because this is not optional tax regime. Under optional tax regime, we cannot apply like this, because for 250, that would be different tax. For 3 lakh exemption individual, the tax would be different. And for super senior citizen, the tax would be different. But in this case, it will always 1,40,000 up to 15 lakh. So the balance 5 lakh tax we just need to calculate, and that would be 1,50,000. Total tax would be 2,90,000. So you can save your time if under default tax regime, the total income has been given more than 15 lakh. So up to 15, the fixed tax is 140. You need not to do this thing, because this income train is different. If you will make the income train, it would be like this. First 3 lakh nil, next 4 lakh 5%, next 3 lakh 10%, next 2 lakh 15%, next 3 lakh 20%, and balance is 30%. So this is simple. If the income is exceeding 15 lakh rupees, fixed tax is 140 and balance is going to be 30%. Here is also rebate concept. Now rebate in this case, okay, fine. There's some condition you need to be satisfied for default tax regime. If you want to opt for default tax regime, you have to sacrifice some deductions and exemptions. There are certain deduction exemption which will be discussed in chapters, what we are going to discuss later, like salary head, deductions head, house property, PGBP. So you have to sacrifice. Why? Because you can see the rate of tax is lower. If you compare default tax regime with the optional tax regime, you will feel the total tax up to 15 lakh is just 1,40,000. But if you will take 15 lakh rupees income tax calculation under optional tax regime, then tax would be higher. It's more than 1,40,000. So you have to do some sacrifice to obtain default tax regime. There are certain exemptions which we need to sacrifice if we want to opt default tax regime. What are these exemptions? What are those deductions? That will be discussed in later chapters one by one. So do not need to worry. But it has been prescribed over here. Like section 10.5 benefits, 10.13, 10.14, you need not to understand what are these exemption deduction. That is going to be taken under various chapter, what we were going to discuss later. Okay. So there are certain deductions, benefit you have to leave if you want to fall under default tax regime. Again, surcharge provisions almost same. The surcharge rate is again 10%, 15%, 25%. But 37% is not applicable in case of default tax regime. The maximum surcharge rate under default tax regime is 25%. We will discuss the surcharge rate for default tax regime also with the help of a chart, which we have I've already prepared for you, and we will discuss that chart in the next session. There is rebate also. Now there is time limit for exercising the option to shift out of the default tax regime. So we have two options, and this is going to be discussed in return filing chapter. I guess that is chapter number 8, unit number 8. So that is going to be discussed there. So need not to worry. So maybe if you will read these provisions from study material and there is no one to guide you, and the institute is providing you the faculty, and if you're going to read these topics by yourself, so you will be very confused that what is this provision? The exemption, those have been written over here, that is going to be messed up you. But that's why, because these are going to be discussed later in the topic. So that's why we are skipping it. Because if we try to understand these provision over here, that is almost impossible, because we have to understand a lot of provision between this topic and our basic topic. So one by one, we will discuss those chapters. Then the return of chapter will come and you will understand what is this provision want to explain. So you can leave it, do not worry. Like AMT provision, we have AMT in chapter number 9, the last topic. AMT concept need to be discussed in last topic of income tax. And the basic concept is saying there's AMT also. So how I would be able to make you understand AMT without making you understand the heads of income and a lot of multiple provisions. So do not worry about it. All is going to be discussed later in future chapters. Now the tax rate for partnership firm. So that 115 BAC, like default tax regime, and optional is only for individual HUF. For all other, the rates are same. Like for if you are a partnership firm or a LLP, the fixed rate is 30% tax rate. Surcharge will be 12% if your total income exceeding 1 crore rupee. Suppose there is a partnership firm and income is 1 lakh rupee. There is no basic exemption limit. The basic exemption limit advantage is only with individual HUF, AOP, BOI and AJP. Not for firm, LLP, company, local authority, not for anyone. So if a firm income is 1 lakh, the rate of tax would be directly 30%. That means tax is 30,000. Sorted. If firm income is 10,000, the rate of tax would be 30%. The tax would be 3,000. If the income is 100 rupees, the tax would be 30 rupees. So it is this simple. Okay. Marginally, what it is that we will discuss in the next session. Cooperative society rates, again, you can read it yourself because in the examination, the firm and individual HUF, AOP, BOI need to be asked. But for the purpose of rate of taxes question or a 1 marks question, they could ask you the rates of cooperative society. You can go through it yourself. Again, you can see the total income of society would be computed at final level. That's why these are going to be just gone through with this provision. In the same case, companies rates are over here. In case of domestic company or any other company, again, these are going to be dealt at final level. So just need to read it out. Rebate under section 115 BAC. So we have seen the rebate under optional tax regime. So within 2 or 3 minutes, we will complete this session and we'll move on to our story concept after taking your queries. So the rebate under section 87A is for default tax regime now. We have seen the optional tax rate regime. That was up to 5 lakh, you can claim the benefit of 12,500 rupees. So we have rebate also in case of default tax regime, that 3 lakh rupees scenario income. And the rebate is only again for individual, those are resident in India. And because in optional tax regime, the rebate was up to 5 lakh rupees, and that would be maximum 12,500. In case of default tax regime, up to 7 lakh rupees, you can claim the rebate, and the amount of rebate would be 25,000 or the amount of tax, whichever is lower. So under default tax regime, the income value is 7 lakh rupees, and you can claim the rebate, whatever amount of tax up to 7 lakh rupees or 25,000, whichever is lower than. But there is a very interesting provision under this rebate concept. So this is the rebate concept under optional tax regime. The rebate concept is single, like 5 lakh rupees, you can take the rebate. In default tax regime, there are 2 rebate concepts. Up to 7 lakh rupees your income, then you can claim a rebate of up to 25,000 rupees or the amount of tax. But even if your income exceeding 7 lakh rupees, you can claim the rebate also. In the default tax regime, even if your income exceeding 7 lakh rupees, you can claim the rebate as per the following provision, if applicable. What is this provision that we will discuss in the next session? Before that, let me take your queries. First of all, then we'll move on to our story. Nisha is saying, sir, please explain slowly. Nisha, we have to cover a lot of provision for basic concept, and we have only 3 sessions. So I'm just trying to complete those provision, and those are important technical points. I am taking them slowly, but those are generally reading concept that I have to take like that because we have to finish a lot of provision. Okay, so let's see what are other queries. Let's see the queries. What is the age at the time of earning money is considered at the time of assessment? Okay, but sir, what is purpose of this rebate? It could have been adjusted in slab only. So the tax or laws needs to be followed. We cannot ask why it is. Whatever the authorities have been made, we have to follow it. Like using helmet is mandatory when you are driving a 2-wheeler, correct? You cannot argue that why I need to pay challan? It's my life, it's my head, it's my two-wheeler. So why I need to pay challan? I don't want to use helmet, but you cannot do that because we have to follow the law. So there is purpose of providing a rebate. You will understand, of course, when you will go for further chapters, there are certain cases when rebate is not applicable. So government is just want to provide you some tax relief. That is rebate is there. You might be thinking that instead of rebate, they could do one thing that up to 5 lakh rupees tax is exempted, but that would be a different problem. There are certain incomes like casual income, which is taxed at 30%. So if 5 lakh rupees lottery income, your tax would be 1,50,000. So that is also going to be exempted. So government said, no, we will maximum provide you benefit of 12,500. So you will understand it later on. Okay. Vishnu asking, sir, what if my income is 5,01,000 rupees? Is rebate still applicable? No, Vishnu, you cannot claim the rebate. Not even for 1 rupees rebate would be there. The whole rebate would be vanish, zero. For senior citizen, basic exemption limit is 3 lakhs. So why does not it allowed rebate? No, rebate is allowed for senior citizen. It is not applicable for super senior citizens. Okay. Is there any margin leave given if the income is little bit higher than 5 lakh? What is the margin leave when it is applicable, Prem? We will discuss in the next class. Do not worry. Abhisha is asking, sir, in rebate, then 12,500 will always be maximum, then any taxable amount of income is 5 lakh. Then why it is said whichever is lower? I have told you, there are some special rate of income like capital gain. The tax rate is 20% in certain cases. Casual income, the tax rate is 30%. So if up to 5 lakh income is going to be tax free, then in case of casual income, if it is 5 lakh, the tax would be 1,50,000. So that would be a huge loss to the government revenue purpose. You will understand it why rebate is given like that, not the exemption of up to 5 lakh rupees. Okay, so next.
Yeah, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, Aparna. So, good evening, students. I am C. Aparna Chauhan, the faculty at Board of Studies of Direct Taxes paper. I think the session is going on and I do not really want to interrupt in between. But really I want to join, and specifically I joined here to ask the students about the feedback and their suggestions and, to improve the classes and all. So in that way, I joined the session just to communicate with the students, to interact with them actually. So technical team just give them the some rights so that they can speak and they can raise up their hands in case they have any queries, right? So before waiting for that, just I want to ask, since we have done with the good evening Priyanka, good evening Rajtha. So now we are on the second session, for these basic concepts, and we have done with the concept of financial year, Finance Act, the assessment year, the previous year. I think some of the students must be are the students who are going to appear in January 26 exams, and some are of September 26 exams, right? So just Abhi, for the time being, I just want to know, see how many of you are going to appear for September 26 exam. Just raise your hands. Without
25, ma'am,
September 25 exams. How many of you? I want to see how many hands are raised here. So there are at around more than 100 students are there, and out of that, yeah. So around 50% of the strength is going to appear for September 25 exams, and the remaining must be then the January 26 exams. So now you are all now lower down your hands, students, just lower down your hands. Now I'm going to ask you the next question. Which assessment year is relevant for you for September 25 exam? Which assessment year? Technical team? Yeah, you just give them the right so that they can raise their hands and I can just ask them this query. To unmute also, they can unmute themselves. So only one student raised his hand. If I'm able to see, just a minute. So people are raising. I got some of the answers. It's AY 25, 26, but some of are writing AY 24, 25 also. So may I know from you why you have this doubt कि 25, 26 भी assessment year हो सकता है आपके लिए? Now you know the concept of assessment year, previous year, the Finance Act and all.
Yes, ma'am.
So Ronak is saying, yeah, assessment year 25, 26. Why? Because you know what is the relevant Finance Act for you, students? What is the relevant Finance Act for you? Priya,
Ma'am,
you can answer.
Act 2024.
Finance Act 2024. This Finance Act is having Finance number 2 Act in between. Do you know why number 2 Act is written in between this Finance number 2 Act 2024? Anybody knows it?
मैम बजट फैब में आता है, वो जो हम रेलेवेंट बजट होता है इसलिए वो डिजिट्स लिखी होती है.
रेलेवेंट बजट होता है इसलिए डिजिट्स लिखी होती हैं. और
फैब
कोई
में बजट रिलीज होता है.
डेफिनेटली बजट फैब में आता है, बट ये फाइनेंस नंबर 2 एक्ट क्यों लिखा है? फाइनेंस नंबर 2 एक्ट
due to election.
I will give an opportunity one by one, so that कोई पहुंच ना हो. हमें एक opportunity देते हैं. Priyanka, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Priyanka, you done with? Then Kishan. Anil.
Ma'am, I don't know, ma'am.
एक काम से मिला दिनेश ने लिखा है कि यूनियन और यूनिटारियम बजट. यस दिनेश, व्हाट इज हैपनिंग? वन इज नंबर 2 एक्ट क्यों लिखा था आपको पता है? आपको पता है फैब में आता है, फर्स्ट फैब को आपका यूनियन बजट प्रेजेंट होता है, राइट? बट दिस टाइम आपको 23rd जुलाई 24 में एक बार फिर से बजट आया था, और आपका जो फर्स्ट इंटरिम बजट था वो आपको फर्स्ट फैब में आ गया था. उसको हमने फाइनेंस एक्ट 2024 बोला जब दोबारा रिपीट हुआ, एंड इट हैपेंड ड्यू टू द इलेक्शंस, राइट? लेजिस्लेशन इलेक्शंस थे, राइट? तो उसके बाद क्या हुआ? इलेक्शंस के बाद जब न्यू गवर्नमेंट बन के आई, देन अगेन द बजट हैज टू प्रेजेंट, सो इट बिकम द फाइनेंस नंबर 2 टाइम्स इट इज प्रेजेंटेड एंड इट बिकम नंबर 2 फाइनेंस एक्ट. और देखोगे मेजर जो अमेंडमेंट्स थी, मेजर अमेंडमेंट्स आर इन द फाइनेंस नंबर 2 एक्ट बेसिकली. तो इसलिए इसमें इसके आगे हमने लगाया नंबर 2, राइट? सेम ईयर में बजट हैज बीन प्रेजेंटेड 2 टाइम्स. फाइनेंस बिल, इसलिए यहाँ पे फाइनेंस एक्ट के आगे हमने क्या लगाया? नंबर 2 एक्ट लगाया. ठीक है. अब बात थी कि फाइनेंस नंबर 2 एक्ट 2024 mainly contains the amendments which are relevant for AY 25, 26. और हमारी जो अमेंडमेंट्स होती हैं बेसिकली वो हम एक नेक्स्ट ईयर के लिए लगाते हैं. जैसे फाइनेंस एक्ट 24 की अमेंडमेंट्स थी वो हमने लगाई आपकी May 25, फिर आपका September 25, and it is also relevant for January 26. So whoever be the students who are going to appear for January 26 exams, their assessment year is also be the same, that is AY 25, 26. That's why these classes for the direct tax paper, specifically for the tax laws paper, the assessment year has a great relevance. And you should also know कि which finance act is relevant for you, which assessment year is relevant for you. आप देखोगे 24-25 में जो default tax rates थी, they are different. The slabs are being changed with the finance number 2 act 24. So you have to keep updated every year with the amendments made by the finance acts, right? So this is very crucial documents basically. और आपको बहुत पता होना चाहिए कि आपका कौन सा assessment year relevant है, आपका कौन सा finance act relevant है. ठीक है. उसके बाद में आपके स्टडी मटेरियल अकॉर्डिंगली बीइंग अपडेटेड व्हिच इज प्रोवाइडेड टू यू. तो एट प्रेजेंटली आप देखोगे अक्टूबर 24 की जो एडिशन है व्हिच इज रिलेवेंट फॉर May 25 एग्जाम्स, September 25 एग्जाम्स एंड January 26 एग्जाम्स. ठीक है. तीनों के लिए सेम ही आएगी. आप एंड यू ऑल मस्ट बी अवेयर ऑफ कि अभी आपका फाइनेंस बिल 25 ऑलरेडी प्रेजेंट हो गया था, राइट, पार्लियामेंट में, जो कि अभी पास नहीं हुआ है. उसके पास होने के बाद भी दैट इज नॉट रिलेवेंट फॉर यू फॉर May 25, September 25 एंड January 26 के लिए भी वो रिलेवेंट नहीं है. तो आपके लिए फाइनेंस नंबर 2 एक्ट 2024 इज रिलेवेंट फॉर यू, राइट? दिस इज द वन थिंग विच इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू टू नो. अकॉर्डिंगली आपके जो भी पब्लिकेशंस हैं, आप जो भी देख रहे हो, यू प्लीज सी कि इट इज रिलेवेंट फॉर विच असेसमेंट ईयर. अकॉर्डिंगली यू यूज देम. अगर वो पुरानी असेसमेंट ईयर्स के लिए हैं तो दे नीड टू बी अपडेटेड एज पर द लेटेस्ट अमेंडमेंट्स मेड बाय द फाइनेंस नंबर 2 एक्ट 2024। वो आपको बहुत अच्छे से ध्यान रखना है। Other than this, there are significant notifications and circulars also issued by the CBDT on regular basis, right? So अब आपका जो CBDT आप पता चला गया आपको, now you know, all of you must be knowing कि what is this CBDT circulars and why they are relevant, what are the CBDT notification, what are the central government notification, you all must be knowing, क्योंकि आपका जो first chapter है it is the fundamentals of the income tax law, basically basics है जो कि बहुत crucial है कि क्या है इनकम टैक्स एक्ट, बेसिकली कैसे पढ़ना है हमें, विच इज हम ड्राइव कहाँ से करें। सर आपने आपका कंसेप्ट बताया, आपको रिबेट का कंसेप्ट यू आर गोइंग थ्रू, यू आर गोइंग थ्रू द सरचार्ज कंसेप्ट, यू आर गोइंग थ्रू द इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर इनकम, 115 BAC and everything, where it's not, you know, written by nobody, it's being legislation, which is Income Tax Act 1961, which is supported by the Income Tax Rules 1962. So rules क्या है? Rules are the substantiated things, you know, which support the Income Tax Act. तो आपके जो notification circulars हैं, which become the rules basically, वहाँ पे notifications which become the rules, उसको वो भी इसकी भी cut off date है। Mainly आपका Finance Act is very relevant. Then the 6 months, the amendments or the legislative amendments which are made by the कोई भी legislative amendments or the notifications and circulars which are issued 6 months prior to your exams are also very much relevant, right? Accordingly, जो सितंबर का एग्जाम होगा आपका, जो सितंबर के एग्जाम 28th of February 25 तक की जो नोटिफिकेशन सर्कुलर्स होगी, that you also have to go through. तो उसके लिए we are going to come up with the start update, because हमारा जो स्टडी मटेरियल आपने देखा होगा अक्टूबर 24 एडिशन, जो मैंने अभी बोला अक्टूबर 24 एडिशन आपको रेफर करना है, एंड दैट इज अपडेटेड अप टू 30th सितंबर की जो नोटिफिकेशन सर्कुलर थी वही थी। अभी एट प्रेजेंटली एक मंथ की 31 अक्टूबर के लिए, May 25 के लिए रिलेवेंट थी, उसमें ऐसा कोई सिग्निफिकेंट नहीं थी, तो हमने कोई स्टैट अपडेट नहीं निकाला। बट मे बी इट मे बी पॉसिबल कि फॉर सितंबर एग्जाम्स के लिए वी विल बी कमिंग आउट विद सम स्टैट अपडेट व्हिच विल कंटेन्स द significant notification circulars, that also you have to, you know, read along with the study material. ठीक है, I think hope this is clear to all of you. और दूसरी चीज, अभी जो आपकी क्लासेस जा रही हैं, somebody is asking what is corrigendum. Basically students, what happens na, some things which skips to us, you know, some typographical errors or something which gone wrong in the study materials. For that purpose we issue the corrigendum to make you correct the things, something wrongly written in the study material, there are some typo errors, there are certain things because we some errors also may happen during you know, doing this process of updation and all these things. So for that purpose we are coming out with the corrigendum that you have to, you know, refer while reading from the study material, right? इसके बाद नेक्स्ट थिंग कि अभी जो आपकी क्लासेस चल रही हैं दे आर गोइंग ऑन, ठीक है। सर आपको पढ़ा रहे, कोई बोल रहा था कि थोड़ा स्पीड कम करके पढ़ाइए सर, समझ में नहीं आ रहा है। एक्चुअली ये ना, अगर आप इसको सिर्फ रीड करोगे लॉ को, इनकम टैक्स लॉ को, तो यू विल नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड इट्स एप्लीकेशन अनटिल एंड अनलेस यू आर गोइंग टू सॉल्व इट, यू नो। अभी तक जहां तक सर ने आपको पढ़ाया, फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैंने देखा कि अभी आपको 115 BAC के बाद उन्होंने सर ने आपको रिबेट का भी समझाना शुरू किया, बट जब तक आप उसके प्रैक्टिकल प्रॉब्लम्स नहीं समझोगे, कैसे अप्लाई करनी है वो रेट्स, तब तक इट विल बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर यू टू अंडरस्टैंड द एप्लीकेशन ऑफ द प्रोविजंस। तो मेरा हमेशा से मानना यही है कि इन दो सर इज प्रोवाइडिंग यू नोट्स, अभी आप बोल रहे हैं सर आप नोट्स दिए जा रहे हैं, आप ले रहे हो, कर रहे हो, लेकिन बेटर है हमेशा एक अच्छा होल्ड लाने के लिए प्रोविजंस पे और सब्जेक्ट पे आप अपने नोट्स खुद से बनाओ। जब आप अपने नोट्स खुद से प्रिपेयर करते हो तो उसकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज वेरी डिफरेंट, यू नो। वो आपका एक बार आपका याद भी करा देते, बिकॉज रेट्स तो आपको याद करने ही होंगे, इसमें कोई डाउट ही नहीं है। रेट्स हुई आपकी, सरचार्ज की क्या रेट्स हैं, स्लैब रेट्स क्या है, सीनियर सिटीजन्स के लिए नॉर्मल प्रोविजंस में क्या रेट्स हैं, रिबेट के लिए क्या प्रोविजंस हैं, तो दैट यू हैव टू डेफिनेटली रिमेंबर। एंड उसका रिमेंबर ऐसा नहीं कि पढ़ के याद हो जाएगा, जब तक आप उसको सॉल्व नहीं करोगे। देयर आर मेनी क्वेश्चंस आर गिवन इन योर एग्जाम्स, उसमें योर स्टडी मटेरियल। तो जहां तक सर ने करा दिया ना उसके सारे क्वेश्चंस, अंकित शर्मा सर आप बच्चों को कुछ होमवर्क के लिए दे दिया करिए कि आपका इतने क्वेश्चंस आपको करके आने हैं, एंड यू कैन आस्क देम कि आपने कितने सॉल्व करे, उसमें क्या डाउट्स हैं आपके, दैट प्लीज गिव देम एज अ होमवर्क।
मैं सारे कराता हूँ, स्टडी के सारे इलस्ट्रेशन और सारे
सर आप तो कराते हैं सर, बच्चे ना आप सिर्फ सुनते हैं फिर उन्हें लगता है बस उन्होंने पढ़ाई कर ली। तो मेरा ओपिनियन है कि आप उनको साथ में होमवर्क में दो कि ये करके ही लाना है। अगर if someone can share, give them some rights, then can share their workings also to you. Just give a glance to their workings, see how they are proceeding with those. वो आप एक बार कर सकते हैं, right? This is the one way, and we also have a feedback form, students. So please fill that feedback form. Not only feedback, you are welcoming. We welcome you to give your suggestions to improvise on these LVC classes. Sir, if you have any suggestion which you want to implement here, also you want to make more interactive and all, तो आप भी अब बताइए। मेरे को एक माइंड में जस्ट एक आ रहा था कि अभी इतने बच्चे हमारे ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, सभी को तो हमें अपॉर्चुनिटी मतलब डेली बेसिस पे आप थोड़ा देख सकते हैं कि समराइज करने की एक अपॉर्चुनिटी दी जाए बच्चों को कि उन्होंने आज सेशन जो किया उसमें से कुछ बच्चों को आप अपॉर्चुनिटी दीजिए कि आज उन्होंने जो पढ़ा उसको समराइज करें। दिस इज माय वन।
बहुत मुश्किल है, मतलब 3 दिन बेसिक में अभी बच्चों को सेटअप करते करते हम रेट्स तक पहुंचे हैं। अभी एग्रीकल्चर इनकम भी है, सारे क्वेश्चन, मतलब वी नीड 1 एक्स्ट्रा क्लास। अभी रेजिडेंशियल की क्लास तो और कम हो गई है एक्चुअली, उसमें भी फिर
नहीं, अभी हम बढ़ा देंगे। आपको लग रहा है कि हमारी क्लास कम है तो वी कैन इंक्रीज योर क्लास। आपको लगता है बेसिक कंसेप्ट्स में ज्यादा कंसेप्चुअल पढ़ना है, बिकॉज आप देखोगे ना डिफरेंट सरचार्ज रेट्स आर देयर। 37% नहीं लगता, बीएससी में नहीं लगता। रिबेट की कंप्यूटेशन इज ऑल टुगेदर डिफरेंट इन द नॉर्मल प्रोविजंस एंड द बीएससी के प्रोविजंस। इफ यू फील कि you need one more class, definitely we can provide you. That's not an issue, but focus
ना वो टाइम बहुत कंज्यूमिंग होता है कि बच्चों को मैं ये सब करा सकता हूँ, बट वो फिर आधा 30-40 मिनट्स उसी इंटरेक्शन में जाएंगे हमारे, और फिर हमारा
10 मिनट्स का टाइम दीजिए बच्चों को, 10 to 15 मिनट्स, नॉट मोर देन दैट। गिव 10 मिनट्स टाइम टू जस्ट रिकैप कि आज हमने क्या क्या किया, उसका एक वन लाइनर में इफ दे कैन कंक्लूड इट। डोंट मुझे नहीं लगता कि बच्चे भी बहुत ज्यादा उसको बहुत डिटेल में करेंगे। जस्ट दे गिव देम द अपॉर्चुनिटी टू कम फॉरवर्ड एंड जस्ट समराइज द टॉपिक्स। ऐसे कर सकते हैं। और कुछ रैपिड राउंड यू कैन प्ले विद देम, give them some immediately doing these questions and all. Yeah, and this is all my suggestions. In case if you have any other things also, so that also really if anybody want to speak something, they can raise their hands. Just fill the feedback form and also give your suggestions for improving these classes. We are looking at you. Who has raised? Sir, किसने raise किया अभी hand? Anubhav, yeah, Anubhav, you please.
Ma'am, good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening.
September 2025 attempt के लिए हमें फरवरी मतलब 28 फरवरी 2025 तक का अपडेट्स को लेके पढ़ना पड़ेगा ना?
हाँ, वो कुछ नोटिफिकेशन सर्कुलर्स होंगी एक्चुअली, बहुत ज्यादा नहीं है अभी मैं वी हैव टू गो थ्रू दिस डिफरेंट नोटिफिकेशन सर्कुलर्स। वो आएंगी, इन केस सम सिग्निफिकेंट आर देयर देन डेफिनेटली वी विल बी रिपोर्टिंग टू यू एंड दे विल बी प्रोवाइडेड बाय योर स्टार्ट अपडेट। वो आपको स्टडी मटेरियल के साथ में पढ़ना है, ठीक है? तो वो बहुत ज्यादा नहीं होगी, बट बहुत क्रूशियल थिंग्स आर देयर जो कि बोलते हैं कि इट इज मे बी प्रिस्क्राइब्ड इन द एक्ट बाय द रूल्स एंड ऑल। तो वहां पे जो powers and that powers are given to the CBDT or the central government। भी हर चीज पार्लियामेंट और यूनियन बजट के थ्रू नहीं आ सकती, कुछ चीज नीड सम टाइम। फॉर एग्जांपल कुछ गाइडेंस नोट्स आए, कुछ गाइडेंस आई, गाइडलाइंस आई उसके लिए क्लैरिफिकेशंस के लिए, तो इट कम्स रेगुलर बेसिस। तो आपको उसको साथ में लेके पढ़ना है अलॉन्ग विद योर स्टडी मटेरियल।
मैंने सारे सब्जेक्ट लिए ना, मतलब ऐसे तो नहीं कि खाली टैक्स के लिए, बाकी
सारे
सब
सब्जेक्ट में
सब्जेक्ट
बेसिकली मैं नहीं कह सकती अभी सबका, बट टैक्स में स्पेसिफिकली कीप ऑन कमिंग द नोटिफिकेशन सर्कुलर्स। आपको देखोगे आईटीटी आल्सो इज वन ऑफ द सब्जेक्ट जहाँ पे आते हैं, बट प्रोनाउंसमेंट्स ऑलवेज मतलब फॉर ऑल अदर सब्जेक्ट्स आल्सो वी होज द प्रोनाउंसमेंट्स। तो वो आप वहां से देखिए कि व्हाट इज द रिलेवेंस, relevant accounting standard, relevant or whatever they all those things are relevant. In case some changes are there, definitely you have to go through those, and we will be providing you, the subject person will be providing you those kinds of updates to you. But for specifically for IDT अगर मैं देखूँ या फिर मैं आपको DT की बात करूँ, तो we come out with the start updates and all.
थैंक यू।
ठीक है? Actually some group is also constituted. You can join that group for your dealing with your whatever be your communications. We can have some communication. We can resolve your doubts also through that group. The group link is
मैम इट्स
provided.
व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप.
हाँ, व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप पे हमने कर सकते हो आप, उस पे लिंक दिया हुआ है अभी सबको. इज इट विजिबल टू एवरीवन? The chat group, it's visible to everyone now, so you can join through that group. Okay, you join that WhatsApp group जहाँ पे आप 1-to-1 interaction we can have.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
good evening, ma'am. I just want to ask that I have no idea about some basics things like taxation. It is very new subject for me. I
Okay.
even don't know about CBDT and the Income Tax Act. So please suggest me anything that I can develop my understanding in
आपने अपना
taxation.
स्टडी मटेरियल लिया है? आपने अपना स्टडी मटेरियल ओपन किया है अभी?
Study material में initially they provided us a standard level knowledge, but I want to gather some additional knowledge from newspapers and journals. Can you please suggest me like that?
देखो, आपको न्यूज़पेपर और ऐसे करके गूगल पे आप डालोगे तो डेफिनेटली आपको मिल ही जाएगा कि व्हाट इज सीबीडीटी एंड ऑल. मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस के अंडर में आती सीबीडीटी विच कम आउट विद दोस सेंट्रल बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्ट टैक्सेस है, जो कि हमने अपनी बुक में भी आपको लिखा हुआ है. उसकी बहुत ज्यादा डिटेल में नॉलेज आपको चाहिए तो डेफिनेटली यू कैन गूगल इट. एक्चुअली आप देखो वहां से मिल जाएगा आपको ये वाली इंफॉर्मेशन. तो और पहले तो सबसे पहले आप स्टडी से तो बेस बनाइए. वहां की जितनी इंफॉर्मेशन दी हुई है ना, दैट वुड बी सफिशिएंट, विल गिव यू एन फुल आइडिया. अंकित शर्मा सर, आप इसमें कुछ ऐड ऑन करना चाहेंगे?
आई गेस बच्चों को थोड़ा सा सेल्फ करना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज ये जो चीज है लाइक नोट दे नीड टू नो अबाउट द इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और द सीबीडीटी और द हायरार्की ऑफ इनकम टैक्स. So they have to find it yourself, because आजकल सब कुछ इतना easy है, गूगल पर you can download it from anywhere. So unlimited knowledge है, and you can Google it, you can find out each thing on Google. And the basic thing, first of all, you should focus on your study material. एक बार आप फर्स्ट चैप्टर को अच्छी तरह समझ लें, then you will Google it ना, you will correlate it with yourself that what is CBDT is doing, what is notification, what is circular, what is rules. So in my opinion, you can do it yourself, but study material को फोकस करने के बाद उसको आप थोड़ा करिए तो चीजें will be easily correlated.
सर एक बार ना बच्चों को जस्ट गिव देम द टूर ऑफ इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट वेबसाइट, so that they will go through that website, जहाँ पे उन्हें थोड़ा आइडिया लगेगा कि कैसे नोटिफिकेशंस आते हैं, इनकम टैक्स एक्ट कहाँ से रेडिली अवेलेबल हो सकता है. In the next class we can give that one, because abhi we are running short of time already. We are beyond time actually. It's 9 o'clock. So आपको next time sir आप initially just give them a tour of our institute website also, or if I will join, then definitely we will be giving you that tour of our website and the tour of our इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट वेबसाइट. दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एक्चुअली. आप सभी देखिए उस वेबसाइट को, कहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट आपका इनकम टैक्स बिल अभी ऑन गोइंग प्रोसेस. अभी आप 1961 पढ़ रहे हैं, बट अभी बिल 25 इज इन प्रोग्रेस, तो उसके बारे में भी आपको मिल जाएगा. लेकिन आप अगर बहुत ज्यादा उसमें चले जाओगे, पहले अपनी प्रायोरिटी डेफिनेटली सर ने कहा कि अपनी प्रायोरिटी, अपनी फोकस आपका बुक्स में ही होना है. अभी जो आपका जो सिलेबस है, दैट शुड बी द फोकस एरिया. बट डेफिनेटली इट वुड बी गुड कि आप थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा गेन करना चाहते हो तो डेफिनेटली आप देखो, उस पर गेन करो, नॉलेज गेन करो. जैसे आपने यहाँ पे क्वेश्चंस पूछे, तो इस तरीके से और भी आपके साथ में है, उनसे यू कैन आस्क दिस काइंड्स ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. ठीक है, तो नेक्स्ट क्लास में सर को ध्यान दिला देना कि वो आपको टूर देंगे एक बार इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट का. ठीक है, वेबसाइट है जहाँ पे सीबीडीटी क्या है, और वहां से भी आपको पूरा एक्चुअल ऑफिशियल वेबसाइट्स पे आप जाइए तो वहां पे बेटर होता है. दे आर जेन्युइन साइट्स, और वहां पे यू विल गेट द बेस्ट आइडिया फॉर इट.
We can do one thing, मैम. अभी नेक्स्ट क्लास इज ऑन 4th, तो मैं इनकम टैक्स साइट बच्चों को बता देता हूँ. They can once
we can show it. Just give me a minute. If I can share my screen, just I will show you, how to go and visit the website. My screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so just give me some time. So देखिए, आप मेरी वेबसाइट, मेरे स्क्रीन पे भी आपने देखोगे हमारी BOS की वेबसाइट ओपन है. आप BOS की वेबसाइट प्लीज 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 कीप ऑन विजिटिंग, मतलब इन सम टाइम. इट्स रियली वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू टू विजिट आवर BOS वेबसाइट, राइट. अब मैं आपको इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट, इफ आई, दिस इज ई फाइलिंग पोर्टल, ये पहले दिखाएगा ई फाइलिंग पोर्टल है. देन सीबीडीटी, आप देखोगे सीबीडीटी स्क्रीन पे आ रहा है. इट्स इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट, ऑफिशियल वेबसाइट ऑफ इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट, जहां पे आप देखोगे about us, everything is written, history of direct taxes, who we are, the departmental directory and all. इस टाइप की इंफॉर्मेशन अगर आपको गैदर करनी है तो यू प्लीज कम एंड हैव look at it and just read it. Then taxpayer charter, what is the taxpayer charter? Tax laws and rules. Basically, this is very very important. आपने देखा होगा यहाँ पे पहले इनकम टैक्स एक्ट आया, यहाँ पे देन ब्लैक मनी है. अभी आपके लिए हम इनकम टैक्स एक्ट का वो भी लिमिटेड पोर्शन ओनली वी आर स्टडिंग. आप वी ऑल्सो हैव दी स्टडी गाइडलाइंस, जहां से हमने जो आपके जो सेक्शन है 139 तक भी अगर हम कर रहे हैं, 140 तक कर रहे हैं, तो उसमें भी सर्टेन एक्सक्लूडेड सेक्शंस आर देयर which are given to you by way of study guidelines. That exclusion list is also there. Go through that list also while doing your study for this. ठीक है. इनकम टैक्स एक्ट है, आपका सर्कुलर्स एंड नोटिफिकेशंस है, बजट एंड बिल्स है. आप देखो इनकम टैक्स बिल 25, इट्स अ न्यू थिंग which is going on. Then finance acts, finance bill, everything is there, right? In that way. तो यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो कि मेरी स्क्रीन पे यहाँ पे आप देखोगे इनकम टैक्स एक्ट एज अमेंडेड बाय द फाइनेंस एक्ट 2024 नंबर 2 स्पेसिफिकली इज पुट हियर, राइट? तो ये जो सेक्शंस हैं उसमें सारी अमेंडमेंट्स हैं व्हिच आर मेड बाय द फाइनेंस एक्ट 24. ठीक है. अभी फाइनेंस एक्ट 25 इज नॉट येट पास्ड इन द नॉट गेट द असेंट ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट. तो अभी एक्ट नहीं बना है और बनने के बाद भी ये आपके लिए रिलेवेंट नहीं है. ठीक है. उसके अमेंडमेंट्स आर नॉट रिलेवेंट फॉर यू. सो किसी ने शायद पूछा था, अभी मैंने क्वेरी देखी थी कि somebody has asked कि 12 लाख की जो लिमिट प्रोवाइड कर दी है वो हमारे लिए रिलेवेंट है. नो, इट इज नॉट रिलेवेंट. बहुत न्यूज में आया था क्योंकि आपने भी पढ़ा होगा 12 लाख तक कोई टैक्स नहीं देना, टैक्स नहीं देना. वो टैक्स इसीलिए था कि रिबेट अवेल कर सकते हो. ऐसा नहीं था कि स्लैब रेट्स चेंज कर दी उन्होंने कि 12 लाख तक कोई नहीं है. वो आपको रिबेट मिल जाएगी और वो भी अदर देन द इनकम नॉट चार्जिंग फॉर स्पेशल रेट्स पे नहीं. ठीक है. उन्हीं इनकम्स के रिस्पेक्ट में है वो रिबेट आपका. तो एक क्वेश्चन एक बच्चे ने पूछा था सर, यहाँ पे मैं जस्ट उसको ऐड ऑन करना चाहूंगी उस पॉइंट पे. उसने पूछा था कि रिबेट क्यों लेके आए आप, स्लैब रेट्स भी तो चेंज कर सकते थे, रिबेट्स क्यों लेके आए गवर्नमेंट?
वो बता ही रहा था कि रिबेट्स का लॉजिक ये है कि देयर आर सम स्पेशल रेट ऑफ टैक्स ऑफ इनकम लाइक कैजुअल इनकम, द रेट ऑफ टैक्स इज 30%. तो वो काफी इश्यू हो जाएगा अगर वो रेट्स रिबेट की जगह एग्जेम्पशन दे देंगे तो.
हाँ, उसका एक कारण और भी है कि रिबेट एक्चुअली क्या ना, गवर्नमेंट सबको बेनिफिट नहीं देना चाहती. वो एक इतनी ही इनकम तक बेनिफिट देगी. ऐसा नहीं कि मेरी इनकम जैसे ही 5 लाख से ऊपर कर गई क्रॉस, 5,15,000 उसमें वो मिल जाता है. 5 नॉर्मल प्रोविजंस में एज सच कोई मार्जिन रिलीफ नहीं, लेकिन 7 लाख के ऊपर मार्जिन रिलीफ, बीएससी में मार्जिन रिलीफ का कंसेप्ट भी आ जाता है रिबेट में. वो आप अभी आगे की क्लासेस में देखोगे. तो वहां पे इफ यू गो थ्रू कि वो गवर्नमेंट बेनिफिट सिर्फ जिनकी इनकम कम है उन्हीं को देना चाह रही है, वो सबको एक साथ बेनिफिट नहीं देना चाह रही. मेरी इनकम अगर जैसे 6 लाख करोड़ के 5 लाख के ऊपर करेगी तो मेरे को आई हैव टू पे द टैक्स. आई कैन नॉट टेक द बेनिफिट ऑफ नील टैक्सेशन. स्लैब रेट्स जो है वो एप्लीकेबल टू एवरीवन, राइट? So this is also one of the reason for by introducing the rebate, why they are not giving this increasing the slab rates like that. So I think now today we can conclude this session. One thing, in the next class, one of you will be giving an opportunity to recap the classes and all for 10 minutes. So give them the chance. So students, be prepared while attempting the class. Do very alert. Be very alert. Note down what are you studying. Then and there make your own notes. सर पढ़ाते जा रहे हैं, ट्राई करते जाओ कि उसको अपने साथ साथ लिखते भी जाओ. उस टाइम ही आपका प्रॉपरली यूज हो जाएगा. ठीक है सर, आई थिंक वी कैन कंक्लूड.
मैम वो बच्चों की क्वेरीज थी कुछ, वो बस
हाँ कर दीजिए सर, कर दीजिए. अभी बहुत सारे बच्चे, आई थिंक ऑलरेडी बहुत लेट हो गया है.
करेक्ट. मैं बस
आप देख लीजिए सर. या
रेलेवेंट क्वेरीज तो मैं लेके लेता हूँ, वरना फिर नेक्स्ट सेशन में बता दूंगा. Aman is asking, means surcharge rates are fixed? Yes, Aman, surcharge rate is fixed, and we have also prepared the diagram and chart presentation also. So in the next session, we will discuss the different kind of surcharge rates in case of different scenario. So we will take it in the next session. Divya is asking, in which case the rebate of 7 lakh is applicable? In case of default tax regime, if there is an individual HUF resident, then up to 7 lakh rupees income, they can take a rebate of maximum of rupees 25,000 or the amount of tax whichever is lower. But there is one more provision in this rebate that is kind of marginally, that we will discuss in the next session. Okay. Shivang Singh is asking, in default tax, if rebate is applicable, it means that we do not have to pay any tax if income is rupees 7 lakh rupees. No, it's not like that. There are some special rate of income on which the tax rate could be 20% or 30%. in that scenario, we can say that in case of default tax regime, if your tax liability is 25,000, then up to 25,000, we need not to pay any tax. But there could be cases when tax could be more than 25,000, even if your income is up to 7 lakh or less than that. What are those cases that we will discuss later, of course. Okay, I guess there is a story part would be next session. Of course, it's already too late. Okay, so there is no other queries, so we can conclude the session. And on 4th, we will discuss a lot of things. Kindly revise whatever we have discussed today, and I will ask one of you or two of you to recap whatever we have discussed till now. And the question, test your knowledge question, etc., we definitely going to take it up in the next session. And please be ready with a pen, paper, and calculator in our next session, because that is going to be a complete numerical and practical question. We have to solve MCQ also. A lot of numerical need to be discussed in the next session. So Manishji, can we conclude the session?